This week on Barbell Shrugged.
This week on the Barbell Shrugged.
This week on Barbell Shrugged. This week on Barbell Shrugged.
We travel to Columbus, Ohio to the Arnold Sports Festival, and we get to podcast with the Jon North. Ain't that right, Jason?
Yep.
So North is the lifter with Fleming on deck.
That one show where my balls were showing, we got some negative comments.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Don't take it personally.
What's up, guys? Mike Bledsoe here with Barbell Shrugged. This week, we're in Columbus, Ohio for the Arnold Sports Festival. Doug and I made it. Chris Moore had to stay behind, but we snagged somebody up for an awesome interview. Mr. Jon North.
What's up, baby?
So we're going to obviously discuss weightlifting, and but first, I want to tell you to go to our fan page, hit our like button, go to iTunes account, give us 5 stars. What else we need?
Wake up, Mike. Gee.
Yeah, dang, man.
Am I tired?
You seem a little down.
Oh yeah, I've been coaching all day.
You haven't got any calories all day.
And I haven't eaten anything because I'm trying. I got to weigh in tomorrow morning. I'm too heavy. I'm fat.
And you're in your PJ.
Yep. I'm wearing my Iron Man pajamas
Mike,
to ensure that I don't leave the house.
Mike, you're not fat. When I walked in, you were half naked.
He did that on purpose.
And on purpose, I think he planned it.
I actually just got done putting a lot of lotion on.
It looked lotiony, if that's a word. And it just, you look good, though.
Appreciate it.
I just want to make that statement. So
later on tonight, I think Rich Froning might stop by. We're going to have a pose off, the 3 of us.
Well, that's what the first thing I said when I walked in my contract to be on the show. I had my chocolate-covered strawberries.
I thought it was chocolate-covered cherries.
Cherries.
Switch it on us.
And then I have Miss Brown Eyes, of course, coffee. And then I said the third thing I want is a pose off with Rich Froning. Or just a fight.
Just a fight.
Just a good old-fashioned fist fight.
I think that's a great idea.
Just out in the parking lot, and that would make my dream come true.
It would make my dream come true also, because that would make fantastic YouTube video.
Oh, yeah. Well,
for sure.
Let me just thank you guys for having me on. Barbell Shrugged, I'm a huge fan. It's an honor to be on the show with you guys. I don't miss an episode. Just watch the drip episode, the coffee.
Yeah.
Right? I don't ever do drip anymore. I do press.
Jon is a press man.
I'm
only.
a press man, baby. Jon North, the champ. All I do is press now because of Mike Bledsoe and Barbell Shrugged. And Barbell Shrugged with a D on the end of it, not shrug.
So
I apologize now if this shows, if I'm going to try to see. I haven't figured out if I'm going to be calm Jon North and laid back Jon North like we were talking about earlier, or if I'm going to be just like cocky, arrogant, asshole Jon North.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out my mic stand.
You figured that out. All right, for everyone that doesn't know you, go ahead and give us a little bit about on your background, your kind of your weightlifting history, and just talk about yourself for a minute.
I'm the champ, baby.
Yeah, national champion, right?
Yeah, national champion, 2-time USA team member, 2-time Arnold champion, American Open champion, PWA record holders, local meet legend. Is to start my career out.
And the American Open this last year, you got best lifter.
Yeah, best male lifter. Just putting these rookies into place. So right now, currently the #1 ranked lifter in the country, and going out to Arnold to defend my title and get on this Pan Am team this year and make this world team.
Excellent. What do you weigh and what do you lift?
I'm a 94 kilo lifter. So right now I'm about a kilo over, which is good. I weigh in tomorrow. And my best snatch is 160. Well, my best competition snatch is 162. And then my best snatch in training is 166. Clean and jerk in a competition is 192. And in training, 195.
What is all that in pounds for the rest of the American viewers?
For you CrossFit son of a bitches, I have no idea. Get a calculator. I'm bad at math. There's a reason why I dropped out of college. Because I was done with it.
Doug's actually really good at math, so I won't attempt to make the conversion.
What were your numbers again? You're 94. That's 207. What was your snatch?
166.
66.
See, 160 is 352, 6 kilos on top of that, so you're looking at 364.
Don't even worry about
Isn't
it, bro.
that impressive?
A lot of steroids.
Lots of steroids. What was you clean?
I'm kidding. I got USADA at my door every day. I walked home the other day, and they were in my living room watching Netflix.
Oh, for real?
Oh, man, they're flies.
Do they come by a lot?
Oh, do they come by? I know them all by name. I send them Christmas cards every year. They always say, why is America doing bad? And, why aren't they on the same level as these other countries? Are you kidding me?
Because we have USADA.
Are you kidding me? No excuse, though. We got to do better. No excuse.
So other countries, they don't have organizations like USADA. Like they may have an organization that exists, but it probably isn't as aggressive.
World Anti-Doping Agency.
They have WADA, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do a good job.
Well, there's a lot of money in these other countries, and the government, backs the teams, and these weightlifters are making big bucks out there, and so there's just a lot. Anytime you get a money sport, there's a lot more behind the scenes action going on, I should say. Where weightlifting in America, it's you're kind of on your own. Well, not on your own, I should say. You have a good support structure. You got your coaches and, the American
muscle
fans.
drivers,
And
muscle drivers doing a pretty good job right now. Out of like all the organizations out there, they're doing probably one of the best at supporting the athletes. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, muscle driver, man. It's a big breakthrough in American weightlifting, in my opinion. A first team that's really paying lifters to slam bars and kill PRs. So, yeah, salute to muscle driver, my team. And, it's a pleasure and an honor to be on that team, and it's awesome. So
when I first saw you today, my first thought was you're looking very, very tan. And I was just thinking to myself, it's March 1st. And you had moved from California to South Carolina months ago.
Yeah, it's been very sunny in Carolina the last few months. It's been about 100 degrees. That's why I look so tan right now. If you think that I've been tanning in a tanning bed and got my spray tan on, you're completely wrong.
I actually heard people in the crowd talking about how they thought you were spray tanning.
Look,
people that didn't know you.
Let me tell you something. I'm a big believer in look good, lift good. Not saying I went tan. Okay, I tan.
It just went silent.
Whatever, bro. It went silent, so I had to be honest. I mean, what? So I tan. Come at me, bro. Come at me right now.
I'm actually not faulting you. I was talking to you earlier, and I was like, I want to start doing some tanning as well because my vitamin D levels were a little low, even though I was supplementing. So then my coach actually suggested that I should jump in a tanning bed, and I looked it up, and the research says that it'll work.
That's why I do. I do it for the vitamin D. It's honestly, actually, when you actually told me that, I just agreed with you. I've never heard that before. So now I'm making myself just sound better by saying the word. I don't even know what vitamin D means, to be honest. It's in milk. I do know that. But look, I honestly, to be dead honest with you, it's relaxing as hell. It really is. And I mean, I fall asleep. You break a little sweat in there, so you get the heartbeat. It's a good recovery, I guess. I don't have any scientific backing, Plus, I'm a real pale guy, really pale. I'm a quarter Japanese. Now I learned that on the last show of Weightlifting Talk. You would actually think that being a quarter Japanese, that I would have some actual color to me. But it's funny. My dad's half Japanese. If you're not full Japanese and you don't tan, you don't get out in the sun a lot, you're actually extremely white. So whatever, bro. Okay.
I learned something before the show that was interesting. We both have a common podcast that we both listen to.
Oh yeah.
I think we all listen to. Actually, this podcast it's the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh.
And that's what got us started doing the podcast in the first
great.
place.
I don't miss an episode.
What do you like about his show the most?
I just like how he speaks the truth, man. I like how he just doesn't hold anything back. I mean, he's just an independent, original mother trucker. He doesn't categorize himself in any sort of group or social acceptance. He just says what's on his mind. I like how the shows kind of are a little all over. It might start here and end up here, and he's just a bad dude, man. I just love the freedom that Joe Rogan has. I love how he's a free guy.
Yeah,
he doesn't hold anything back. He doesn't try to make a certain group happy. He doesn't try to impress people. He gets on a show and he just speaks Joe Rogan, and that's what motivates me. That's why I did Weightlifting Talk, my show.
Yeah,
and that's cool to hear. That's why you did it. And I was like, I want to be free like that, because there's so much stuff I think some people have in their head that they want to get out and they want to talk about, but some people I think are timid. And they're like, well, what if I offend this group? And, what if people think I'm crazy? And what happens if I lose friends? And what happens if my family thinks I'm nuts? And there's all these things that are holding back. And, I think just saying screw it and going for it, just like Barbell Shrugged and Weightlifting Talk and all that. And that's cool that you guys listen to the Rogan.
Yeah, so all y'all out there, if you listen to Joe Rogan and you like it, what you ought to do is tweet at Joe, so we can get Joe Rogan on Barbell Shrugged.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what I want to happen. I want Joe Rogan to come on the show. I also want to go on Joe's show.
We had a bunch of people throw some tweets at him last night. Like, he's in town tomorrow night to do a show. He's in Cincinnati tonight, I believe. And I think Mike threw a tweet at him, and then we had a bunch of people follow up like, oh, my God, you got to go on that show. 3 or 4 or 5 people, but
yeah,
Joe's got 1 million followers, so there's no way he's looking at all of his tweets.
When I was at dinner with Joe Rogan last night, we were talking. This coffee's great. It's
there you go.
There you go.
It's excellent coffee, by the way. What kind of coffee is this? Where did you guys get this?
Pre-ground coffee that was already here when we got here. Maybe we should buy this girl some coffee. Is it her coffee? So our buddy James took a bunch of footage from you from last year at the Arnold and put together a rockin' video.
Oh my gosh.
Which maybe we can cut into this episode. We got to talk to James and see if he'll let us. He probably will.
Oh my gosh.
That way, if he doesn't now, he'll seem like a real jerk. Now that I said that.
Hey, salute to James, man.
Yeah. But his video was cool.
James Chaney, if you're listening, thank you so much. That was one of the coolest videos, or the coolest video I've ever seen. I just can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. It gave me goosebumps, and it was awesome. You all right, Mike?
Chris Moore just sent me a text and said, "You dudes need to start Facebooking and tweeting some content. Are you bored up there? Get to it. The community is surely interested."
Well, I was a little busy today coaching.
We don't have any reception in that place.
The reception at the Arnold sucks balls.
I'm gonna take a picture and give it to Chris right now, right here on the show.
I'm like, while I'm trying to fix my mic stand, I'm like destroying it. Like the knob just came off, a thing just came off the bottom. I think we're on the last straw for these mic stands. So if anyone knows any good mic stand manufacturers, let me know. they're
Chris, you
too
want to edit in
big
my picture
and they
that I
hurt.
just took?
But actually, last year we came to the Arnold last year, and we were at that was both nationals, and then that was also the Olympic trials for the ladies.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like when I became a Jon North fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
True story.
I
I
was-
didn't really know who you were until we saw you lift last
You
year.
son of a bitch.
I know.
Like I knew your name. You'd come up in conversations before. You were always known as like, oh, that guy's kind of wild. He causes a little bit of trouble. And I was like, oh, I want to watch this guy lift. And then I think it was James had said, hey, I got to get a lot of video of Jon because James really likes your style. And he was telling me about you, and I started watching some videos of you in the gym. I was like, man, I like this guy. So we videoed we got insane amount of video at nationals last year. And that's where James, I think, captured the majority of the footage is in that video that Doug's talking about. I've seen some of it pre-edited. I have not seen the edited version. When you asked me if I'd seen it this morning, I thought that maybe James had sent you something, but I didn't know that he had published it.
I woke
So I've
up.
yet to see it.
Yeah, I woke up to my phone blowing up, lighting up and stuff, and it said I had a message, and I just checked it and clicked on the link he sent me, and I was blown away. It was awesome.
How's that for motivation? I mean, you're about to compete this weekend. You're gonna probably hit
Well,
some-
I'm actually upset right now because I texted him, James, and I said, "You son of a bitch! I'm trying to stay calm before the storm." And
should have released it like tomorrow afternoon. huh?
Exactly. I'm trying to keep my head on straight and be focused and calm and take up all this built up energy and frustration towards life and put it into the bar tomorrow. But after seeing that video, I'm ready to drink coffee on Barbell Shrugged and slam some bars like right now. So I don't even care, bro. To be honest with you, I'll lift any day. Like, let's max out right now. Like tell Rich Froning to hurry up so we can have a CrossFit competition outside.
You did Grace once.
I did.
How
I
did
did
that end for you?
Well, it was honestly the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and I'll never do it again.
Grace is 30 clean and jerks
Oh,
for time.
God, I don't even want to talk about it.
But
It
it's
was so
only like
awful.
60 kilos.
It was so hard. I think 62 kilos, something like
Right,
that.
actually
It was
135
so difficult. But I can't finish a CrossFit workout. I mean, I finished that. I mean, one that doesn't involve snatch and clean, and press and jerk and everything. You take that out of the picture.
So is there a video of you doing this? Of doing you doing Grace?
Well, I did one at a CrossFit box like a few years ago.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. That's with out there. Actually, it was in Carolina where I live now. It's funny, full circle. And then when I was on the team Cal Strength, we did one as a team.
I saw that
just
one.
messing around and stuff, having fun. Having fun. And I honestly, this is gonna sound, I was like, I wanted to go after that record. Dan Bell has it at like 102.
Bailey?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Dan Bailey, I'm sorry.
Or is it Bell?
I'm learning all the CrossFit names. I'm trying to get all the CrossFit lingo
some
and the
guy I don't know.
names. And
I'm actually not even sure who.
yeah, but I said 60 kilos. I said, get off me, bro. I'll do this in my sleep.
That's only like a third of your max.
I started drinking coffee. I got really confident because I'm really insecure. So that's people always ask me, well, John's so cocky and arrogant and so energetic. What they don't understand is I'm really insecure. That's why I got to hype myself up, to be dead honest. If I don't get hyped up and I don't start, slamming bars and yelling and drinking coffee, I have my head down thinking about,
Are you an introvert?
no
Or
one likes me. I said something wrong. I mean,
you-
look, the Dark Orchestra. I write about it all the time,
Right.
My blog.
Are you like an introvert that has to act extrovert? Is that kind of what that is?
I don't even know right now. What does that mean? I'm a one-trick pony, Mike. I do snatch and clean and jerk. That's about it. That's what I say in the beginning of my seminars. I don't know anything else about life besides snatch, clean, and jerk.
Oh, it seems to be working pretty well for you.
Chris
Oh,
Moore
well,
says
thank
hello. He wishes he could be here to talk shit.
Oh,
The guy that's usually on the show with us.
tell him to get his bald ass out here.
I don't know. He would love to be here. I think you guys would have a great dynamic.
What were we talking about?
Style wise.
We'll have to get you guys together at some point
Oh,
somehow.
yeah, please do. I'm a big fan. Tell him I'm a big fan of him, man. I don't miss your guys' show. I'm telling you. And when I find out that people have, that don't watch your show on a consistent basis, like I'll say, in the weightlifting world, someone would be like, barbell shrug. I'll be like, I want to punch him. I want to punch him in the face, right in the jugular, and to say, hey, step your damn game up. Let's go.
That's what I like to hear.
But I think my ADD kicked in. What were we talking about before I went off on my insecurity?
Shit, I don't know.
Hey, so
I was going to make a final big point. Oh, finish a CrossFit workout.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I've tried a few times, but I can't finish a CrossFit workout at all.
So what does that mean you can't
Well,
finish?
a lot of people don't know this, but
you
I
just-
can only do I think my max right now is 7 pull-ups.
Oh, yeah?
And the funny thing is, I'm the weakest guy in the world. Like, I'm literally the weakest person in this room, in the world. You get me off the platform, off an Olympic weightlifting platform, you get me away from snatch and clean and jerk, and I'm just tits on a boar. I can barely do 7 pull-ups.
Useless.
I can't run because I smoke, so I'll start throwing up.
By the way, maybe we should clear that up. Since
Oh,
I think
shoot.
I think some
I
people
shouldn't have mentioned it.
I think some people might be confused. I think that you're smoking the reefer, but you're not, because that would be against.
Well, there's 2 reasons
that would
why
be, you get that. That's a banned drug.
Well,
right?
yeah, there's 2 reasons why I don't smoke weed, and that's when I meant cigarettes. But yeah, you're right. This is good that we clear this up. I should. Well, the first reason is because you USADA, and I'll get popped, and then I won't be able to represent this beautiful country. So that's a no-no. And the second reason is that if I took a hit of marijuana right now, I'd be in the corner crying,
Oh yeah.
real bad, man.
The voice
It's,
of experience.
Really, I mean, I haven't done it since, I think, my freshman year in college days, of course. But
Just doesn't agree with you.
no, not at all. I'd rather do cocaine than weed.
You do sound like more of an uppers kind of guy.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're drinking like 64 ounces of coffee a day.
I drink a lot of coffee. People don't know this. I mean, they think that I'm joking when I talk about coffee. I mean, it's an all-day adventure for me.
So like we attack coffee from like the quality side. It seems.
Yeah.
We were got the French press going on. If I tried to match your coffee consumption, I would probably die.
No,
Like, I think I would have like a heart attack.
Well, it's like overtraining. It's impossible. Drinking too much coffee is like overtraining. It doesn't exist. People just like to make it up like it exists. Your body basically gets used to it, just like learning how to train hard. Adding another training session to your schedule, per week, adding another hour to training. Over time, your body will just get used to it.
Have you ever?
Yeah.
I haven't gone. It's been 3 years, and I haven't gone one day without coffee. If it hits noon and I don't have coffee, I literally start to sweat and get the shakes. That's no joke.
Actually, let's go down the other path for a second. What's your training schedule like right now?
Hell.
Is it hell?
No, right now it's nice. That's why I love meets, because we start
Yeah.
to taper, and then I get to finally like breathe and enjoy life a little bit, because we back off the volume.
Mm-hmm.
We start to lighten up before a meet.
So 2 weeks from now, after this meet's over, what's it going to be like?
Hell, lot of volume,
Yeah.
a lot of lifting, not necessarily
what
heavy.
does that mean?
Well, when I say volume for you CrossFit and sons of bitches, I mean like a set of 3 is like a marathon. If coach has me do 3 hang snatches, I'm putting on my track shoes. It's so a lot of variations to the lift, a lot of accessory exercises. We do a lot of just off the blocks, hangs, triples, sets of 5. Big. We just got off a huge squat cycle, doing 3 sets of 5 for the last 3-4 months, ever since the American Open. The closer we get to a meet, the more, I would say, Bulgarian we get, the more we stick close to the lifts, the snatch and clean and jerk, and we just really just max out every day. So the last 2 weeks, all I've done is maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked 60-90 just a few days ago in training,
Mm-hmm.
and that's always fun. It's always fun. But anytime we're far away from a big meet, we do just a lot of repetition, a lot of lifts.
So when you say all you do is max out, you mean you max out like every day?
Yeah, snatch and
Yep.
clean and jerk, just a single. Who can lift the most weight? Let's go.
What's
You just
the
build up to a max and then you're done for that session?
Done.
what's the last day? you
Go
did
go
that?
eat, smoke a cigarette, drink some coffee, and do it again.
What's so you're doing that? You're maxing out twice a day during
Oh,
a
yeah.
taper.
Oh yeah,
Okay. What was
Yeah.
the last day you maxed out?
3 days ago.
So that was what, Tuesday
Yeah.
or Wednesday?
No, it was actually Monday.
Monday. So you maxed out on Monday. What's training look like since Monday? So you've been maxing out twice a day for like weeks on end.
You know,
Or 2-3 weeks.
not every day. You know, mostly like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays. But you know, on Tuesday, Thursdays, we take it lighter. We only have one training session that day, and then Sundays we get off. Actually, we don't train on Sundays.
Okay.
I'm usually flying. I do seminars on Sundays, so you know, like on my one rest day, I'm flying around. So, but I love it though.
I guess that's why you need all that coffee.
Yeah, man.
How do you teach? So you do seminars and Glenn does seminars, but you don't do seminars together.
Well, we used to, you know, and like I say, I mean, my seminars are a melting pot of, you know, so many different coaches that I've had over my 6+ year career, you know, teammates that I've had, different programs I've been on. I've done every technique you can imagine. I've been on every program you can imagine. So my seminar is just a melting pot of everything combined with my own thoughts and inventions and way of doing things. And so, you know, I thank Glenn Penlay for taking me and putting him under my wing. I did a lot of Penlay seminars, and but now we do our own now. The Attitude Nation certification. We do certifications, and it's fun. But we're doing a Penlay tour. I'm going on. Me and my wife are going on the Penlay tour in Australia for a month out in August. So we're looking forward to that. So it'll be kind of fun to reunite with my coach, you know, and go on a seminar with him. But, you know, I got to coach it his way. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we agree to disagree. I coach very different than Glenn. I coach it very different than any coach in the world.
I don't think you're going to have two coaches.
But
that teach
that's the
anything
thing, though.
same way.
Every coach teaches it different, you know, and I'm trying to break that from American weightlifting, to be honest, because it's things like, you know, everyone wants to just coach the same way. And if you don't coach this certain way, then you're just Johnny Cash. You're just an outcast. So when I first started doing these seminars and teaching with, you know, the way that I teach, it's like, you know, you should see my hate mail. Are you kidding me? You check my hate mail after this. Put up the laptop right now. Let's read a few.
What's different than
I need more coffee, Mike.
Hey guys, when we were podcasting with Jon North in the apartment up in Columbus, Ohio, he was trying to describe a movement during the snatch and clean, and he didn't get to get up and demo because we had stuff everywhere. We had wires and whatnot and microphones, so we weren't really able to get to it. So what I'm going to do for this week's Technique WOD is I'm going to show you what exactly we were talking about during that podcast with Jon North. Hey guys, Mike Bledsoe here with Technique WOD. I'm going to show you guys a new, what may be a new technique to you for doing a clean or a snatch. This is going to be more useful for the catapult version of the snatch or clean. A lot of people have been introduced, especially if you follow like the Bergener warm-up and stuff like that. That's definitely promoting a triple extension type clean or snatch. And just as we talked about on the podcast with Jon, there's also another school of thought where people are using more of a catapulting of the bar for their snatch and clean. So I'm going to do it with a clean, since that's what I do the most with this style of technique. So basically what we're talking about is instead of when you got a clean and coming straight up and then focusing all of your effort into the putting vertical force on the bar and sending it up, the idea is that you would row the bar in and you're going to pop the bar with your hips. And it's more about getting as much force from the hips into that bar. Instead of trying to move the bar up, you're going to basically slam the bar with your hips and then pull under. So what I don't want you guys to mistake this as is an early arm pull. If you are a triple extension lifter where all the force is coming up, it would not be beneficial to bend your elbows during the second pull. But if you're doing more of a catapult style, what happens there is when you get here to that second pull past the knees, you're going to start pulling that bar towards your hips, okay? So you'll notice that I'm not pulling up. I'm actually sending my elbows back, and I'm rowing the boat back. All right, so if I get here, and as I'm extending, I'm rowing it here so that I can then get here, which is going to allow for a lot quicker arm turnover. So if you're somebody who tends to get up and the bar crashes, if you tend to do that, this might be beneficial. Getting that arm pull here, popping, it's going to allow you to get a quicker turnover there, okay? So if you guys want to try this out at home, go with a lighter weight at first because it can be taxing on the biceps. But as you pass your knees, you're going to row and then pop. Okay? Here. Oh. That should practice with it a little bit. Use lighter weights. Another way that you can kind of practice getting into that position is if you looked at one of our earlier technique wads, we did a snatch from the quads. You can also do a clean from the quads where you get a clean grip here and you start here. And as you come up, you're actually not going to let your arms go completely straight. You're actually going to just pull in like this, okay, which is going to look very similar to what you just saw. So here, boom, pop it there. Here, pop it there. So what I'm actually doing is getting the bar to my hips and then throwing it off the hips. There, okay? It's going to be very similar to getting here, pulling it in like that. All right? So we'll call that the clean catapult, clean technique with the rowing the boat. All right, guys.
What is different about your style than maybe traditional American style weightlifting?
You know, I guess you can categorize it as more of a catapult style. Catapult, am I saying that right, sweetie? I always mix up that word.
You always talk about that.
It's not catapult, it's
catapult.
Catapult.
That's my favorite part of the whole episode so far.
You know, shout out to Don McCauley. Shout out to Don McCauley, Coach Don McCauley. If you haven't taken a Don McCauley seminar, take a Don McCauley seminar. Take everybody's seminar. Look, when I do my seminar, I say, once this seminar is complete, book as many as you can.
Yeah.
Right? Book a Greg Everett seminar. You know what I'm saying? You know, book a John Coffey seminar. Book a Yasha Faye seminar. You know, book a Mike Bledsoe seminar. You know, an Outlaw Way. Book an Outlaw Way seminar. You know, book anything, you know, because I just say, hey, this is just one way. This is just a way to get to the top. Is it the best way? Of course it is. I mean, my way of lifting and my way of teaching is the best in the world. Obviously. I mean, any coach that doesn't believe that's, you know, not being the best coach they can. I mean, when you coach like you've been doing this weekend and you guys coach, you believe the same thing I do. You know what I mean? So I get fired up about it, man. I love seeing people PR. I love seeing people get better. I love coaching. I love the sport of weightlifting. You know, that's just the bottom line. You know what I mean?
I really like what you were saying. You know, take your seminar, but then also do other people's seminars.
Everyone.
I personally, people ask me, like, who do I subscribe to the most when it comes to weightlifting coaches? I can't say that there's any one coach that's had, you know, a dominant force with me. Yeah. Last fall I spent a week in St. Louis, a week in California. I'm going back to California next month to spend with different weightlifting coaches. I'm going to come out and see you guys sometime this year.
You're going to stay in the Attitude Nation compound.
It's going to be awesome.
I would love to have you guys come out. Honestly, I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you. You know, we're going to be
coffee,
in
video games, and weightlifting.
Oh, jacuzzi.
You
know, I don't drink anymore, so I found myself, now that I'm sober, I find myself doing a lot more activities. No, really though. We went skydiving. We went indoor skydiving.
Oh, that's fun.
You know, we go to the amusement park, we go to the zoo. We went bumper car racing and stuff. It's interesting though, because I used to think that the only way to have fun was drinking and doing cocaine.
So you used to do a good bit of drinking.
I was
partying.
addicted to crystal meth and alcohol.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So. And you know, I lived a nightlife that was insane.
How long ago was this?
This was through high school and about I would say senior, but I never got that far a year in college. But you know, when I first got in the sport at 22, and then it went on. I got into Vicodin pretty hard. It went into about 23, and then I got my act together with a good family and friend and my wife and weightlifting support structure. I owe everything to weightlifting. Everything. That's why I'm so passionate on this mic right now. That's why I fly around the world, not only competing, but teaching, because weightlifting has saved my life. So, but I find myself, now that I'm straight and sober, I find myself doing more activities. And you know what it is? I've actually learned how to have fun without booze. And I think for an alcoholic, and I hate even saying alcohol, you know, for a person that lived that life for so long, it's like the only way you think you could have fun is by partying like that. You know what I mean? And I had to teach myself there are other ways to have fun. And it's one of the most difficult things I've had to overcome. So now, now I have fun just hanging with my wife and hanging with you guys, and I don't need alcohol to have fun because I've tried so hard to be a social drinker. I try, man. You have no idea how hard it is.
You seem like a really intense guy. I think you're probably going to take just about anything.
That's the thing, man. I just can't have a few drinks and go to the ball game, and I've tried. I used to have a 6-beer cap, and that you probably just can just imagine right now how that went.
Yeah, I mean, once you have more than 3, it's over.
It's over, I'm sneaking shots in the bathroom so no one can see me. I mean, what's the point of doing it? I'm supposedly doing it for myself, but I'm not. So, I know my ADD's kicking in. We're getting off track. But what I'm saying is come on out and we'll have fun.
Excellent.
You know what I mean?
It sounds like it.
Full circle.
I mean, look, the thing is with me is I'm an open book. I don't hide anything. And, that's why I love writing in my blog. And, if I can help anybody, I feel like if I just tell the truth and be me, hopefully I can help somebody that was going through the same problems or is going through the same problems that I was in the past. And hopefully they can hear me and do better.
So it sounds like you learned from a lot of different coaches, throughout the years. Like, how has your technique changed over time? As you've gotten those new influences.
Yeah, that's a great question. I used to do, it's evolved so much from. I started out with a triple extension coach, more of a high pull shrug, and all that.
So more of a Bergener style, you would call that? Maybe.
Well. No comment on that.
Okay.
Trying to be nice here.
Yeah. But
okay. So what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, look,
then?
basically the bar never touched my body. I never did. It never wasn't really like a catapult style way of lifting, and I did okay. I was going up the rankings and I was doing really well because to be honest with you, I'm a freak athlete. So no matter what technique I use, it's gonna be game over. Let me bring it back down. I got insecure, so I had to do that. No, but it's just
so the bar didn't even brush your thighs.
No, I just pulled straight up and went under.
Shit,
I
really?
call it the pull and pray. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But look,
what it sounds
but
like.
let me tell you something.
I see that a lot in CrossFit.
Sounds
so
terrible.
it's super common.
It is. But let me just tell you something
I
now.
didn't even know that was a taught style. I thought that was just you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah,
really?
I was same boat.
Well, look, I'm being vague about it. A lot more. It was a proper way. Look, there's no wrong way to lift weights. See, that's my biggest thing. There is no wrong way to lift weights. There's only just better ways for each individual and each individual coach. The sport of weightlifting is taking the barbell from the floor to overhead in one motion, or in the second part of the sport, 2 motions. So however you do that, if you're standing on your head and doing a jumping jack and however you get the bar up, who cares? It's a made lift. That's the sport of weightlifting. But, other people like to, do other techniques to better themselves like me. So I love that line. Everybody's like, that's the wrong way to lift. There's no wrong way to lift.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's better ways to lift, in my opinion.
Right.
But there's no wrong way to lift.
Say something similar. There's no best way. There's only better ways.
There's only better ways.
Right.
So
you start with triple extension. Then why'd you change out of that style?
Just different.
What'd you move on to?
Just different coaches. I went into. I had a few different coaches out in Sacramento that were great. And that's the thing, is that I don't regret all the different styles of pro. I used to be a big percentage guy. A lot of people don't know that. My thing is I ain't got time for percentages, I was very triple extension, a lot of percentage workouts, and it was great. I wouldn't change a thing. You know what I mean? But I moved on to a Bulgarian coach. I trained under Donnie Schenkel. I got on the team with Cal Strength. This was before Cal Strength was known as Cal Strength. This was before Glenn Penlay was there or anything. I trained under a Bulgarian coach named Alex Krychev. So really just influenced the different coaches that taught, hit the bar with your body. Bar body contact, more of a catapult system, but they never really said that word. More pull under rather than up. How fast can you get under, not how high can you pull the bar. But they never really necessarily. The funny thing is that with these high level coaches, these Bulgarian coaches, they don't really teach you how to lift weights that much.
No,
it's just grab the bar and go. And if you miss the weight, why'd you miss? But what you do as an athlete is you see these other people lifting. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm not doing that right there. Why does he look so different than me? Or why is he moving so fast? I'm moving totally different. You go to these international meets, you start just surrounding yourself with a new atmosphere, a new way of doing it. And then you're like, wait a minute, I look so different than these guys. I like the way that these guys are lifting.
Yeah, some of the biggest changes I've ever made in my lifting was just because I was training with guys who were better than me. Not because I was actually with a coach that was teaching me anything. It was just other lifters were in the room. They were, the first time I realized my coach was like, you have to jerk faster. And I was like, okay, I'm going to jerk as fast as I can. And then I went to my first big meet, the American Open years ago, just to watch. And I was watching these guys go. I go, oh,
Yeah.
that's fast. I didn't realize what fast was until I saw, whoever held the American record at the time do a clean and jerk in the warm up area, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it now. So, for those people, what is the difference? What would you say the difference is between a triple extension and a catapult style?
Yeah, just going under. Just the speed under the when do you go under?
So you would say maybe instead of shrugging up, you shrug down?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I hate using the word shrug.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Why is that?
Because I just think it's like the double knee bend, or like what foot do you jerk with forward. You never should have to think about it. The shrug that's taught, the word shrug shouldn't even be in a weightlifter's vocabulary, in my opinion, because it's automatically going to happen. You're never going to have to think about it. And in my opinion, the shrug does absolutely nothing. The shrug used to be, that's the thing, a lot of people don't know that back before 1960, the bar was not allowed to touch your body. That was a rule. So to pull as high as you can and shrug up and, full extension and jump up in the air and all this kind of stuff before you go under was the best way to do it. But all of a sudden people started cheating and they were starting to hit the bar with their body and getting under faster. People were scratching their head, what the hell's going on here? And with, a lot of debate, they finally took the rule out. So I feel like the technique has kind of evolved in the last 20, 30 years. Definitely overseas. Definitely. Look at these Russians. Look at these Europeans lifting. I think that the American weightlifters, they don't lift like me. Honestly. I mean, I'm not saying, look, how can you tell Kendrick Ferris, I'm not going to sit here and say Kendrick Ferris has bad technique. He's a 2-time Olympian. I'm not going to sit here and say Matt Bruce should lift like me. Matt Bruce is a 3-time national champion. I mean, these guys are studs. I'm not saying lift like me. I'm just saying that, this works for me. I like the way that this feels. I lift the most weight on this kind of European style weightlifting, this bar body contact. The Superman pull is what I call it. I did not do good with pulling the bar up and then going under. So I think that the main difference is bar body contact. That's it. I mean, the bar should never touch you until it gets to the hips in the snatch, ever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How hard can you hit the bar? I mean, there's the Cubans or the Brazilians in Pan Am, the games last year, they broke bars with their hips. They call them the bar breaker. They'd bring bars out.
Wow.
Seeing these guys lift 5 feet from you is insane, right? And they make fun of American lifters. They pull up, they shrug up. Why do you do this? It's been 30 years, and hearing this, it's frustrating. So, but I'm not saying it's the wrong way. I'm just saying it works for me, and it's just the way I coach.
What's the Superman pull? I've heard
the
you talk about
Superman
that a
pull
lot.
is just the best pull in the world, baby.
Can you show us an example?
Look, the Superman pull is when do you start to finish? That's really the bottom line. So what I teach is it's the Superman. The other nickname for the Superman pull. You should look, Mike. Pay $200 and go to a seminar. Come on now. What are you doing? Giving this free advice? No, I'm just kidding. The nickname for the Superman pull is Bob. But back over back is what Bob means.
Okay.
And it mostly has to do with the shoulders. So I teach with that ass really, really low off the floor.
Yep.
And the shoulders almost behind the bar.
Okay.
So pretty extreme off the floor because the lift itself is extreme. So Bob means back, shoulders back, and then over means shoulders over. How long can you keep your shoulders over the bar? That's the question. Mm-hmm. How straight can you get your knees? That's the Superman pull. That's really the shoulders and the knees are the two biggest difference between the more classic way of lifting and what I coach and how I lift. My knees almost extend every single time I snatch. Sometimes they actually do extend.
Hey, you're talking about during
I'm
your first
talking
pull.
about double knee bend. Am I being too loud? Lock out, I mean.
So on your first pull, you get into a straight knee.
I'm not really explaining it right. It's
So you lock.
You guys are getting me off my
Are you
rhythm right
locking
now.
out your knees on your first pull?
So what's your definition of first pull? See, that's the thing that some coaches.
I would say before you get to mid thigh.
All right, let me say.
I used to say before you bend your knee.
First
before you double knee
pull.
bend.
First pull is from the floor to your knees. Second pull from the knees to your hips. That's what I call first and second
Okay.
pull.
Okay.
And then from there, it's the Archangel, Tom Brady on a white horse.
You lost me.
I know. If I did a full seminar and I could start, you know.
We don't watch football, so
Yeah, there
I
you
don't know
go.
what's
Look,
going on.
it's all about look, I know I said never talk about this, but it's all about double knee bend. It's all about the hips coming through. It's all about how much power can you put into the bar with your hips in the bar. Because what's going to happen after you hit the bar? The bar is not going up nor down. It just is. It's floating.
Mm-hmm.
How much power can you put into the bar? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that bar that might as well be connected to the wall, and then you're just going to pull yourself under. Once the bar gets to the hips, it's done. It's done. Game over. From there, it's under. But you have to finish. And what I mean by finish, you have to get in the Archangel, hips coming through. All right, let me back up here because you're getting me all over the place. Really, the Superman pull is this. How far can you get your knees back? How long can you keep your shoulders over before you finish? I don't believe in just driving your shoulders back the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot more stuff that goes into it, but honestly, I got to stand up and I gotta go through it step by step by step by step. So it's kind of hard right now on the microphone, but
So we have to do a seminar to
just
find
don't
out.
pull back, go over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, keep the knees going back as far as possible. Because I like to say the pull doesn't matter. All the pull is a setup.
Right.
It's a setup for the finish. That's all it is. It's all about the finish. So how can you set up in the most powerful way possible for the finish? That's it.
And the finish
you're
is going to
saying
be getting under the bar.
No, the finish is striking the bar.
Okay.
The finish is striking the bar in the hips, a.k.a. the Archangel, a.k.a. driving your hips, not just hitting the bar, but hitting your hips through the bar, like Tiger Woods hitting a golf ball and following through.
I'm gonna screw up my lift tomorrow morning.
That's right. You're overthinking it now.
I'm talking to Jon North, best American lifter. I'm gonna go to sleep tonight, and I'm gonna be going, how can I make my lift more like his?
No, don't do that.
And then
though.
I will wake up tomorrow morning having thought about it all night in my dreams, and then I'm going to bomb.
No, I'll tell you one thing. I saw you lifting yesterday, or no, today, this morning. It looked great.
Oh, thank you.
Don't try to lift like me. I mean, like I say, I always say there's a million different techniques in the world.
Well, it'll be subconscious. I'm not going to try to lift like
No.
you. Why would I do that?
So you're telling me you're going to start tanning.
I am going to start tanning
Yeah.
next week.
Look, I say there's a million different techniques in the world because there's a million weightlifters in the world, and they all lift slightly different than the person next to them. You know what I mean? There's wiggle room with the Superman pull. There's wiggle room with the Archangel. There's, every athlete is going to be different. I
did change something about my clean recently that actually I've seen a lot of you guys do in videos, and that is a little bit of an arm bend and pulling the bar into my hips. And I visited a few different gyms, and I noticed that like the better lifters, they were all kind of doing that to a degree.
Yeah.
And I started making that change. It was a slow process. I couldn't do it with a really heavy weight at first.
Mhm.
I was doing sub-maximal weights just because my arms weren't used to doing it with heavy weight. And I started almost like rowing it into my hips. And then I've noticed that my power clean wasn't going up at all, but my clean, I was able to like bottom out and really catch a nice smooth clean out of the bottom, which I've always had a hard time catching in the bottom of a clean. I would always catch in like a parallel or something like that.
See, that's a bad habit that seems to be common, is catching it too high. That's why I don't like the word power squat clean and squat snatch, because the weightlifting, there's no squat in weightlifting. You should catch it in the bottom position and then stand up. That's why people always ask me, they go, John, why do you squat with such a narrow position, with narrow feet? Why do you front and back squat with such narrow feet? And I tell them, because when I squat, I'm looking for strength for the pull, and that's how I pull. I don't ever try to get strong legs to stand up. How strong can I make my legs for the pull? Everybody wants to talk about strong legs to stand up. Screw that. What do you mean, stand up with what, a snatch? I can stand up with a 166 kilo snatch any day of the week. Any lifter can. The snatch is easy. Compared to what you front and back squat, the snatch, no one has a problem standing up with the snatch. Leg strength does come into play with the clean because it's a little heavier. But if you catch the bounce correctly, because you pull correctly and pull fast and pull confidently, then you're going to be able to shoot up out of that clean like cheesecake. So I always coach, let's get strong legs for the pull, not for the stand-up portion. But, Mike, you're right. I'm a big believer in arm bend. I teach it. I talk about it. Well, I should say I don't teach it. In my seminars, I have people try it. Then I tell them, raise your hand if you like it. Some people raise their hand. Some people don't. And I said, for the people that like it, keep it. And for the people that don't like it, go back to straight arms.
You feel like that's an arm length thing?
No, I'm never, that's one thing about me is I am not a believer in body type at all. Everybody wants to talk about different techniques for different body types. I just disagree with that 110%. They say, oh, hip clean where lifters hit the bar off their hips in the clean. Most do off the thigh like me. But people say, oh, well, Donnie Shankel's a hip cleaner because of his arm's length and stuff and his torso and all this. They start throwing numbers out. No, Donnie Shankel's a hip cleaner because he was born a hip cleaner. It's a rhythm thing. It's like boxing. Why does Ali move his feet like that? It's a rhythm. It's in his DNA. You know what I mean? So I'm just a big believer than that. So, I mean, look, I call my seminars my way of teaching street weightlifting. In my seminars, I talk about things that actually happen in real life weightlifting that nobody talks about, in my opinion, especially USA weightlifting. I mean, I coach USA weightlifting courses. I'm a college dropout with no certifications. I know nothing about anything besides weightlifting, but I coach these USA weightlifting certifications, and it's just insane, man. It's insane. It's basic. Stay on your heels. I mean, they don't talk about arm bend. They don't talk about, all these other little things that go into lifting big weights that so many elite lifters do that frustrate me. Dynamic start. I actually coach dynamic starts. I'm a big believer in dynamic starts before moving basically before you move.
Right.
And the advantages of gaining speed with that. And I talk about all the different dynamic starts I've had. And
that was part of your bob you were talking about earlier?
No, you could do Bob cold turkey. Bob's actually during the pull. Where the dynamic start is moving basically before you begin the pull for momentum.
Before the bar comes off the ground.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm a weak lifter. I mean, with my weak legs, I got to do everything possible. And you're right. I say the arm bend is like rowing the boat because you're taking that arm bend and you're bringing the bar back into you. You're not pulling. You're not using the arm bend to pull up.
That used to be my.
Yeah.
That's what I used to think it was. For the longest time, I was like, never arm bend. We always called it early arm bend.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it was about 6 months ago. I started lifting with lifters that are better than me. When I was out of town, and I just started experimenting, and I started like rowing the bar. And I went from being a leg striker to a hip striker.
Oh, okay, wow. Yeah. See, I envy you. I wish that I cleaned off my hips. I just can't.
And I mean, I think it added 10 kilos in my clean pretty quickly. And it made it really quick. And I want to get back to a point you were making. You were talking about a lot of times people, they catch a clean at the bottom or low in a squat, right? And they have a hard time getting up. And you're saying it's because of their pull.
Yes.
And that's something I've been learning recently too. I've noticed is usually if you're having a hard time standing with a clean, it has nothing to do with your squat. It has to do with the fact that you caught it in a shitty position.
Your timing's all off.
Right. And if you catch it in the bottom at the right time, you'll bounce out of the bottom and it should feel pretty and you're going to be pretty upright too. You see guys, they're almost getting folded over and they're fighting to get that clean up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And there is such a thing as just a miss. There is such a thing, even if you do everything correctly and time it, the weight's just too heavy and you can't stand up. So it's not, people kind of get mad at themselves and what did I do wrong? And I think some of the best coaching is basically just saying, you just missed. There is such a thing as just a miss. And I want to get that word out that it's not because you did something wrong. It's just the sport of weightlifting. Look, I always say 90% of the sport is talent. 10% is all luck. It's all luck. When you're going under a bar in a big meet, like you guys know, you're crossing your fingers and praying to the weightlifting gods that thing's going to stick. Sometimes when it does stick in the right position, you're shocked. You're like, wait a minute, how the hell did that just happen? Is it time to stand up now? Okay, they're all cheering. The bar must still be up there, but there's sometimes where you miss it and you're like, I did everything right. What happened? Well, the weight was just too heavy. You missed it.
I can totally relate to that. I haven't PR'd a snatch in fucking years, but last time I did, when I caught it, I was like, there's no way I thought I was going to like lock out and stand up with that weight. It came off the ground. I was like, I might as well just set it down. But I tried anyway, and I came locked out, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'll say the better I've gotten at weightlifting, the more surprised I am that I'm catching the weight overhead consistently. like it feels heavy coming off the ground. And then usually I find weightlifters are getting better and better. They're like, the weight is getting heavier. I was like, of course it's getting heavier. But it's like almost like you have to trick yourself into like finishing the lift.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're like, well, it's 160 kilos. Like, you like got to force yourself underneath the bar.
Wow. It's a bitch of a sport, and it's really mental too. You know, it's scary going under that weight. You know, there's a lot of times you just don't want to go under. And it just takes that slight hesitation and you're done.
So I talked a little bit about the clean and how doing the arm bend with the clean a little bit, how does that apply to the snatch? And does it apply to the snatch?
Yeah, I mean, I think it applies more to the snatch than the clean. Look, the clean is more of a strength part of the sport. I mean, you can make 10 mistakes in the clean and still make it. It's more just brute strength. Where the snatch is just, you know, you make one mistake, you're done.
Right.
You know, it's more of a finesseful thing. It's ballet with a bar. So I think the arm bend is more important for the snatch because you got to get the bar from your hips all the way over the head. And you need as much power as possible. And so the arm bend just gives you more power. It gives you more power and more speed on the bar. If you're pulling the bar nice and fast, right before it starts to get to the hips, put a little arm bend in there, row the bar back into you, you're going to get that much more speed, that much more power, that much more momentum. And guess what? If you do have a weird body type and you're having trouble getting the bar into the hips and you don't want to take your grip out any further because you're already collar to collar, let's say, that arm bend will actually help get that bar in the crease of the hips, a.k.a. the power position, for you to have those Tyson hips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a position thing as well. Like, look at all the top guys. Look at Andre Aram now. YouTube Andre Aram now. He's got phenomenal arm bend. But if you talk about arm bend, USA Weightlifting is going to try to ban you from the sport.
Again, rowing it into you.
I love what
you're not arm bending it up. You're rowing it into
rowing
your hips.
it into you. You, Mike, you could not be more right. Or, you know, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, I always tell my wife, I said, row your boat. Just like you're in a canoe and you're rowing the canoe. It's the same exact thing. Look, at the top of the finish, which I call the arched angel, okay, your elbows should be back towards the wall, not up. If your straps broke at the finish, then you should fall back against the wall behind you. I don't teach the vertical finish. Now, if you emphasize the shrug under and teach emphasize the shrug and more of a vertical finish, that's fine. I mean, I know so many coaches and I'm very close friends with that teach that way, and it's a fine way to lift. You can lift big weight that way. I'm not saying it's wrong. This is just the way I coach. That's it. That's all this is. It's just a way I lift and a way I coach.
I know you say you squat with your feet pretty close together because you're focusing on getting stronger for the pull.
He actually looks funny when he squats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
You son of a bitch.
What about foot position? Are you a big, like, feet straight ahead or toed out a lot? Where do you prefer? Or where do you coach?
Yeah, I coach. Well, that's a good question because the way that I coach that is that every athlete's going to be different. It's really what's your comfort zone. It's like the arm bend. If you like the arm bend, keep it. If you don't, don't. I don't ever make athletes arm bend. Mm-hmm. Just like I don't ever make somebody have feet like I do. But I do say, you know, in the seminars especially, I say, at least let's try this. Mm-hmm. So, and if I have a one-on-one client, I'll have them do this. But I like to coach with my feet, heels almost touching, and toes out. The reason why toes out is in the pole, you can push your knees out to the side and not just back. If your toes are straight out, the knees aren't going to get out of the way as much.
Right.
The further your knees go back, the harder you could drive the bar back. And that's another thing. I'm a big believer in bar back, not up. Mm-hmm. Paul Doherty, my first coach, said, you know, this is a melting pot. Everything in the sport of weightlifting is back, not up. Everything. Mm-hmm. And if you can understand that right off the bat, you're all good in the hood. But the toes out brings the knees out. And that's what I love about the toes out. You see the Chinese lifters have that frog stance, some of them. It's insane. But look, going underneath the bar, going underneath the weight, no matter how hard you try, when your feet move, they're slightly going to go out a little bit. Mm-hmm. They just are. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem I was going to talk to Mike about. The biggest problem in weightlifting is what you think is low on the catch is not low. Every seminar I go to, I say, now squat. And I walk around and I say lower, 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 lower. I got to, I'm yelling at these people. And they get way lower. They're actually finally all the way in that bottom position. Mm-hmm. and that's where you got to catch the ball. You got to get comfortable. You got to watch a movie down there, grab a bag of popcorn. Now, if your feet are wide on the pole, what are they going to do when they move? They're going to go out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Now you can't get lower.
So now you can't get that low. Now here again, every athlete's different. I do know some freaks that could actually get lower with a wider stance. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, it's uncommon, and for me, it just doesn't work. So if you really want to get low, you got to have your feet closer together. And if you're going to have your feet closer together, you got to pull with them really close to anticipate them coming out a little bit. You know what I mean? Plus, let's talk about the two bounce that you get with close feet, is what I call it. The bounce from the stomach to the thighs. Mm-hmm. Your stomach is gonna bounce off your thighs. This is a big Bulgarian trick that I learned a few years back. That's gonna help you in the squat and in the clean shoot up from that bottom position, especially the 105 pluses that have big bellies. Also, the second bounce is the butt to the calf.
What about guys like me who are completely shredded?
Shredded and jacked like you, you're done. You're over. But the second bounce is the butt to the calves to shoot you out of the hole. And the closer your feet together, the more bounce you're going to have on both of those bounces. Again, the double bounce like I'm talking about, the arm bend, the dynamic start, all these things are just taking your Honda into the body shop or into the car shop and adding accessories to make your car faster. That's all these things are. You don't have to do these things, but they're going to help in my opinion. So let's talk about them.
I think that's a lot of excellent points. I think everyone who's listening, if you're not already trying some of these things, go back and experiment with some. Watch some of the videos that they're posting on. Are you guys posting on Ustream still?
Yeah, we do live. We do the live stream.
Still do the live stream on Ustream.
Team MD USA.
That's right. It used to be Cal Strength, and that's when for some reason I don't see it as much now. Are you guys not promoting as much?
Well, we're just not on the Cal Strength team anymore, so we don't have anything to do with them.
Should I not bring that up?
No.
So, I hate those guys.
No,
I was kind of getting that vibe too.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off like that. I don't think I heard you too correctly. I didn't hear the question well, I guess. But no, we're friends. It's all good in the hood. There's no, there's we just do our own thing. They do their own thing.
So why'd you guys head out to South Carolina?
South Carolina. Yeah. Well, I just go where Coach goes. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. Coach moved out, so I moved out. Plus, they're paying me now, so
there you go. Following the money.
That helps.
So they said, hey, we're gonna pay you. There's an A team, a B team, and a C team, and obviously I'm on the A team. And
there's a C team. Can I get on the C team?
Hope.
Yeah, man, you get on the C team. So no, I just go where Coach goes. So they said, Coach said, let's go. So I said, okay.
Did the C team get paid?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be on the C team.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's go. But look, you're in a good sport, CrossFit. Don't leave it. I always say, to CrossFitters, I go, what are you doing? Don't get into weightlifting. This is a bitch of a sport, man. This is a dark bitch of a sport.
Believe it or not.
Stay in CrossFit, man. You got a team aspect. It's motivating. Obviously, it's fucking extremely hard, but you have a good. There's a certain vibe and a certain energy that CrossFit gives off that I see. I'm not gonna lie. That's made me a thought about doing it.
Yeah,
I love it. I come from that football background. That's my background. And it's got that just same type of support structure, that same energy, that same mentality that I find fascinating, that I just love. That's what it's so great about CrossFit. And the nice thing about my situation, the team muscle driver situation, is that we have that in weightlifting. Guys like Cal Strength, Average Bros gyms, John Coffey's gym, Hassle Free with Paul Doherty. You're seeing all these gyms now that are creating more of this team atmosphere in weightlifting, which is really cool. But and I think CrossFit's helped that tremendously. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't worry. I lay at night sometimes looking at the fan after writing a deep blog, and I'm like, how far could I go in CrossFit? If I quit smoking and got a CrossFit coach and really gave it my all, Rich Froning, where you at, bro? I'm not saying I would do good. I'm just saying, it'd be fun to, I just like the team aspect.
Yeah. I think you named off all the weightlifting teams that it's probably, creates that same type of environment. Truth be told, I'm not as good at CrossFit as I am at weightlifting, so I that's why I do more weightlifting.
You did what are your best numbers in weightlifting?
Snatch 114, clean and jerk 137.5.
You only been doing it for a little bit?
I've been back and forth for 6 years. I've been lifting for 6 years, but I lifted for a couple years, did CrossFit for a couple years, I weightlifted for 6 months, did CrossFit for 6 months, just back and forth. So I've been kind of like, average. I've been switching sports too frequently to get really good at either one.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you love both.
Yeah, I think that's why people like, and I like CrossFit is because I have that ADD mentality. It's hard for me to stick with any one sport for very long, and CrossFit kind of does a really good job of that.
Well, I think that's great actually. I mean, you're doing two things, not only one thing that you love doing.
Yeah. And
you have a podcast that talks about both things. I mean, in my opinion, you guys are just more well-rounded than most.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you have more knowledge. you have more knowledge because of it. So, I mean, I feel like you're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I love coaching CrossFit. I love coaching weightlifting. I like participating in both. It's a lot of fun.
You move good.
Thank you.
I saw you this morning.
Thank you.
You got some Tyson hips. I mean, I'd like to mess with you a little bit, but don't worry about it. I'd like to.
Hey, that's why I want to come out and train.
I'd like to throw a Superman pull on you a little bit, teach you my crazy madness.
Maybe I'll hit some more PRs.
No, you're doing fine. Don't listen to me, man.
You know, screw me up.
No.
No, I'm gonna come out and train, and I'm gonna play around with Superman pulls.
I'm a big believer though. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
If you're smashing weights and going to these big national meets like this weekend, and you're doing good, well, keep it.
Yeah. Just get stronger.
Yeah, man.
Well, is there anything? Let's see. I'll start with Doug.
Yeah.
So I can let you think about it. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Oh, I can go all night, man.
I know you can,
dude. I mean, I'm out of coffee and I'm still going. This is a special occasion. That's why I'm keeping the vibe going right now. Let's just go 5 hours straight.
We're gonna do like a marathon podcast, Barbell Shrugged.
Oh, that would be great. An all night podcast.
We should do a fundraiser at some point for something.
For something.
I got a fundraiser idea. It'll be giving me money.
Okay.
Just so I can have it.
Let's do it. I'm in.
And then what we'll do is we'll just see how long we can podcast, and people will call in and donate the money. That's right.
We just hit $20.
Well, it's have you seen that movie, Matt? I think it's called Where the First Porn Site Was Made.
No.
Sounds awesome.
We're all interested though.
Yeah, I think it's like Matchman.
It's talking about porn. Let's keep this podcast going. Yeah,
the very first porn website. These guys put it up and charged people like a monthly membership. It's never been done before. They had a whole movie on it. I forgot what it's called. Me and my wife.
Is it a documentary or is it
no?
like
It's
a movie?
It's a great movie.
Okay.
Great actors, great movie. And they sat there, and every time someone paid for a subscription, a little bell rang. And it was like 3 days of no bells ringing. And then all of a sudden, one bell just went ding, 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 ding. And they were like, ran to the computer. These guys are broke. They're in their robes in a shitty apartment. And then all of a sudden, another bell rang. Ding, 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 ding. And then ding, ding, ding. And then ding, ding, ding. And then for like 2 weeks straight, the bell just wouldn't stop ringing. Ding, 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 over and over and over and over because the money was just flowing in. And then they became billionaires.
That's the story of Barbell Shrugged.
So we got to find that thing that's better than porn.
Okay.
That people can access on the internet. We can charge a membership for. So what is it? Maybe weightlifting talk.
Weightlifting talk and Barbell Shrugged at the same time.
Oh my God.
That's actually a genius idea, to be honest, because I'm having you on my show this Sunday.
That's right.
Weightlifting talk.
What time are y'all shooting
and
for?
Doug.
Yeah.
And the whole crew. I told the whole crew. You're like a rapper, dude. Wherever you go, wherever you and Doug go, the crew goes.
CTP will be there.
CTP in the house, baby.
And then maybe we can bring some weightlifters. We can all just hang out.
We're gonna do the show in the middle of the hallway at the Arnold. So when people walk by, we're just gonna start grabbing people. Sit down, you son of a bitch. Let's talk weightlifting.
What if we need to grab some people that don't weightlift or probably don't even know what it is. I think that'll be fun.
You guys do a lot of weightlifting talk. I've missed a few episodes, but you guys do about both. You guys do a lot of diet,
a lot of
nutrition stuff, which I find interesting because I don't know a lot about that. So I actually learn a bunch.
I mean, if people aren't familiar, like I mean, our backgrounds are more from originally weightlifting oriented, more strength and conditioning. We weren't like originally CrossFitters, so that's kind of why we're probably a little strength biased on our show.
Yeah, we actually learned about CrossFit at weightlifting practice when we were only competing in weightlifting, and
I
had never heard of CrossFit before.
I didn't know this.
Yeah,
I thought you guys came from CrossFit.
No, I did my undergrad, like my senior project was on the biomechanics of snatching, and then I came to Memphis to work with Dr. Fry and Dr. Schilling, who had done a ton of weightlifting research. So I came to Memphis to go to graduate school to study weightlifting.
Oh, wow.
And then competed all through graduate school, and then had a shoulder surgery, so I don't compete anymore. But then we started the gym, and so we've had a heavy emphasis on weightlifting at our CrossFit gym just because that's just what we know.
I see.
We're super lucky that happens to be what we know about.
Yeah, actually,
That's
originally
the most needed sport needed part in the sport.
Right. Yeah, I originally wanted to open a weightlifting gym, and then I discovered CrossFit, and I was like, well, you know, how successful can a weightlifting gym really be? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to open up. There's no weightlifting in Memphis. I'll open up a weightlifting gym. We would have been out of business. Well, like a month later.
I think,
and I didn't open up CrossFit just because I knew it would be successful. At the time I was doing a lot of CrossFit and I was having a lot of fun with it. And I was like, I actually thought there was a CrossFit gym in Memphis. I'm like, surely there's one already here.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. And then that's when we were like, all right, we'll open up a CrossFit gym and we'll have weightlifting too. So
see, I think that's smart, and I think that's the way to go is to have a CrossFit gym with a weightlifting team.
Yep.
Or the CrossFit team and a weightlifting team if you want.
Yep.
You know, weightlifting gyms are tough. There's just less weightlifters than there are CrossFit, and especially if you're.
So where are you going to make the money if you've only got like 15, 20 weightlifters? Like, you know, you're not going to. They're each paying what, you know, $100 to $200 a month. That's not going to pay any bills.
Well, I tell you, if I ever open up my own gym, I'm going to have a CrossFit team and a weightlifting team.
There you go.
I'm going to do both. I'm not going to do just weightlifting. I mean, obviously, I'm going to hire a full CrossFit coaching staff and try to recruit, you know, people, and then do the same with. Well, I'll probably be the weightlifting coach, but get the CrossFitters in there as well. So just have both. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing we pride ourselves on.
Fuck it, I'll get a powerlifting team.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Well, powerlifters.
Well, what do you mean by that? Are we not cool with powerlifters?
No, we're cool with powerlifters.
I love powerlifters.
We had a powerlifting team in our facility and a strongman. They were like powerlifting strongman
and
for a while.
strongman. Oh, and body. Now I got to just say all the Iron
there was
Games.
no bodybuilding. Fuck no.
Everybody get in the corner and pose off. Let's go. 3:00, you're on. You know.
No, we had powerlifting and strongman team at some point, but they seem to be the most emotional people in the world.
Oh, really?
And the powerlifters and strongman listening right now, I know you're crying. You're like, oh, I can't believe Mike said that about me. But
really? See,
or raging.
Yeah.
Now, why do you see? I know nothing about powerlifting. I've never been around powerlifters. I've never been in that world.
Wasn't Glenn a powerlifter for a long time?
Yeah, world champion.
Yeah.
Back in the dark ages.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, won worlds. Back when there was only 2 federations too, which I have to give it to him.
Oh well, there you go. Yeah.
That was insane.
Now there's like 50.
Well, that's the one thing that I don't understand. Why there's so many federations? I just don't I don't get it.
I don't either.
Why not just have one and who could be the best?
They don't really want to know who's the best, I don't think.
Oh. Well, I was thinking about taking a powerlifting seminar.
From who?
I don't know. Just, you know.
Go to Louis Simmons, I guess.
Well, let me tell you something that's difficult for me. Because I pride myself on being a one-trick pony. And that's why I think I'm a good weightlifting coach. Like, you know, when I coach somebody, I say, look, you know, all I know is weightlifting. So let's get good at it. And I like not having any influences. Like when I go to seminars and they try to explain the CrossFit thing or powerlifting, a part of me is almost kind of like, you know, actually I'd rather not even know because I like to go into these seminars blind, you know, because everybody in the seminar is just weightlifters to me. But, you know, it's hard because that I agree with that side. I like being blind, but now I kind of want to open my horizons and learning about like, you know, powerlifting and strongman and maybe more about CrossFit and stuff. I just don't want that to necessarily change the way I coach weightlifting. I like the way I coach now, and I don't know if that would have any influences on my.
I don't think it would. I think you know.
I don't want to start. I don't want to start teaching the low bar squat all of a sudden. Uh-oh, I said it. Am I going to get in trouble on the show?
Absolutely not. I'm actually anti low. Not I wouldn't say I'm anti low bar. I'm very pro high bar. Especially if you're, and this is where you're probably going to disagree with me. Especially if you're built for it. You know, if your levers are more friendly to a high bar. I like low bar for people with longer legs and people who have maybe bad ankle mobility and stuff like that.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I like low bar. I always my default is high bar, and then if there's a problem with someone doing a high bar, then we go to low bar. But there's absolutely nobody in our facility weightlifting and then doing low bar back squats. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I see.
And then for the competitive CrossFitters too, like we may low bar back squat like way away from season, but CrossFit is a sport that's going to benefit from high bar squatting because it's practically half of its weightlifting. You know, your overhead squatting, your front squatting, back squatting, or, you know, squatting period. You know, the fastest way to get up and down is more of a high bar style anyway. If you're low bar, you know, powerlifting squatting, I think that you're probably, you know, wasting some energy. So,
yeah.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
I know you go on some rants about low bar.
Well, I'm on your show,
I think it's
so
fun.
I won't.
No, go for it. I want to hear it. Now, this will cause some good controversy because we actually have had guests on before that were very pro low bar. I mean, I'm not gonna get an argument with you.
It's your.
But I want people to hear your opinion.
Well, I told myself before I came on the show, I was like, you know, I gotta, you know, be calm. I don't want to bring the show down here.
People,
You've been being calm the whole time.
Oh,
this is calm, John.
This is calm, John.
This is calm, humble, John.
So what?
I
want to hear your opinion about low bar.
It's okay. I'll just say it right now. It's really simple. I believe that as weightlifters, or what you CrossFit Sons of Guns call them, Oli lifting, you board short motherfuckers. What you guys?
I do own some board shorts.
Yeah, baby. Some 5-finger shoes, some tribal tattoos. When I get into CrossFit, I'm getting geeked out and all that too. By the way,
Come by, see my guy. We'll get you tatted up.
oh dude, it's gonna be game over. You know, look good, feel good.
That's right.
I just think that for weightlifters, you should high bar. I think that low bar ruins careers. There's nothing worse than you could do than to low bar squat.
Yeah,
it'll ruin your career weightlifting. It teaches you the worst habits ever. There's no carryover, in my opinion. It's a disaster. I've seen people just, you know, trying to get somebody to snap out of that low bar. Because what happens, you start low bar and it carries over. You start snatching and clean and jerking like a low bar squat, and then it's just death.
right.
But what I always say, though, is that if low bar squats work great for CrossFit, because I don't know, then great. Low bar squat could be the best exercise for a CrossFit athlete in the world. Great. Do low bar squats. I'll even campaign for that. Do a low bar squat 9 times a day then. You know, obviously for powerlifters, because that's the sport. For most of them, I think they do low bar. So obviously low bar. If you're trying to get strong, I don't know anything about the strength and conditioning world, but if you're trying to get strong for football and be a better football player, then do low bar back squats. It's probably great for you. So I'm very pro low bar. That's what a lot of people don't get. But I'm just not pro for weightlifters. Just specifically. For in the sport of weightlifting, in my opinion, you should always high bar. And that's it. For other sports, low bar. And if you do low bar for weightlifting, we're still friends.
That was not nearly as controversial as I was hoping for.
I'm good tonight, you know. I'm laying back and me and Donnie Schenkel have went on some crazy low bar rants in the early shows of weightlifting talk. So I think I got it out of my system on those. Oh my God, did I get a lot of bad feedback though? Wow. There are people out there that I found out firsthand that if you diss the low bar squat, you are in big time trouble.
Well, you know what's funny is Chris, who's normally on the show.
Yeah.
He's a former power lifter.
Okay.
And if anyone's going to support the low bar, it's going
That's
to be
him.
that guy.
Then great.
But he doesn't.
He's all for.
Oh, really?
He's all for high bar. He does high bar now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he's using high bar to fix his
Here's the
mobility
thing.
problems.
Here's the thing about low bar that frustrates me, and to go a little more in depth with it. Maybe I'll start ranting, but I don't know how much time we have left. I'm sorry if I keep rambling.
I guess
but
it doesn't matter.
I don't know what's happening.
YouTube will let us post up to what 3 hours, 10 hours now.
We haven't tapped it
There's
out yet.
there's just no. I think that the way you should squat. That's why I have narrow feet in my squatting. The way you should squat is the way you should lift, snatch and clean and jerk. The way you pull, the way you do pulls should be exactly the way you snatch and clean. You know, the way you jerk off blocks, the way you even do push presses, you know, driving that head through. It should all have carryover. And the low bar squat doesn't have any carryover for weightlifting.
You're not practicing a movement you're going to do.
You're not practicing. Look, everybody says, but John, you're going to get strong. No. Let me tell you something. Okay. All right. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, you sons of bitches out there. You're going to get strong in low bar back squatting. That's where you're going to get strong. You're going to get strong tackling somebody in football. You're going to get strong powerlifting. You're going to get strong in CrossFit. If that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. But you're not going to get strong in the snatch and the clean because it's two completely different sports. Powerlifting and weightlifting could not be further apart from each other. It's like golf and poker. If poker's a sport, I think poker's a sport. In my opinion, I just hate when people collide powerlifting and weightlifting together like they have all these similar antigens. Is that a word? I don't even know where I came up with that.
We're going to start using it now. Hashtag antigens.
Antigens.
How are we going to spell this?
The Jon North Barbell
You
Shrugged
want-
shirt
you
will
wanna
have
spell
antigens
it?
on the back.
Do you want to spell it or do you want me to spell it?
Do you know what I'm trying to say, though?
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Screw it. I just get frustrated because I love my sport so much. When people try to come in with all these different sports and then they relate these different sports, I'm like, get out of here. It's two completely different worlds. Yes, it's the iron game. It's part of the iron game. Yes, we both involved weight. You know, it's just like asking why doesn't a powerlifter train high bar? Do they? Am I wrong?
I don't think they do.
They don't because they
often.
don't high bar squat. The powerlifter does not high bar squat because he low bar squats. So why would a weightlifter low bar squat when he doesn't low bar squat in the clean and in the snatch? It just
the argument that I've heard and
please go
and
fight back with me.
Well,
Please debate with me.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate
All right, go.
because I already have my own
Go.
retort to this, but that's a real word.
Maybe that's what I was. No, that wasn't what I was looking for.
No, anyways,
Retorque.
actually, I don't know if I use that word properly.
I like your pajamas, by the way.
Thanks, Iron Man. They say you get more posterior chain engagement.
I don't even know
with
what
a
that
low
means.
bar squat. Okay.
I don't know what that means. I don't. I've heard it so many times. What is that? Posterior chain.
Posterior chain engagement.
I don't know. Man.
Now I have to define it.
No, don't.
No. Now it's a challenge.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
you could, I guess, change my mind maybe.
no. I mean, what the argument is it's gonna engage your backside, all the muscles that are involved, your glutes, hamstrings, lower back, all those things that there's a lot of talk in the strength and conditioning world. Some CrossFit coaches talking about posterior chain engagement. Posterior chain engagement is a really popular thing that's said in powerlifting actually.
Okay.
And so the argument is posterior chain engagement. You're not getting that fully with a high bar back squat, but you will a low bar. So what I tell people,
But do you get that in a clean and a snatch?
you do. That's what I tell you.
You do.
If you're pulling off the floor, you are. If you're pulling off the floor properly, you are. And if you do good mornings, there you go.
I see.
That's
All right.
very, very similar.
I think we beat that shit to death. What do you think about deadlifting for weightlifters?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Heavy deads as opposed to clean or snatch deads, or or just heavy pulls.
I don't know.
Do you
Do
deadlift?
you do them?
No, and that's the thing. My 6+ year career, I've never ever been on a team that ever did deadlifts for training. So I'm not saying that I don't believe in them, but I'm not saying I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've just never have done deadlifts. I've never ever done deadlifts. I have no idea how much I could just pull
But you do clean pulls and snatch pulls. And do you do
very rarely do we do clean pulls and snatch pulls.
Really?
And if we do, it's definitely not like how much can you do. It's for triples, and then you end off on like a hang snatch.
Do you do like do you do percentages based off of your lifts?
Percentages ish, I say.
Right.
We just kind of rough ballpark percentages. You know, not really even just.
You go like, we're gonna go 105%.
We max. That's when I say we max out every day. People get it confused sometimes. Like we just snatch, clean, jerk, max out. Yeah. Like if we're doing like what we'll do 2 pulls, 2 snatch pulls, and then lower the bar and do a hang snatch. So that's a triple. So we're doing our pulls, but we're sticking close to the snatch or the clean, and we'll basically max out in that. So obviously it's going to be far away from your single.
So
max.
you do like 2 snatch pulls and then you do a hang snatch.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
obviously we're able to snatch pull more, but the reason why we're not is because we've got to lower it and then do a hang snatch.
Okay.
What prevents us to pull more weight. So that's what I mean by we stick close to the lifts. We might do some funky stuff, but either the first rep, somewhere in the middle, or the last rep, we always end off on a snatch, clean, and jerk in some way possible. So coach has never said, how much can you clean pull? Let's go. Or clean deadlift or whatever, you know. Right. I mean, I don't know how to do a deadlift properly like a power lifter. No one's ever taught me. But when we do like heavy pulls, it's like a clean pull. But I've never maxed out in it, so I don't know. But I mean, if it works, it's great. I don't know. Maybe we should do more. I have no idea. Not really a subject I'm too I'm looking for a big word. Keen?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Keen too.
What about other assistance stuff? Like you said earlier, you can only do 7 pull-ups. Do you guys do pull-ups?
No.
Once a week, twice a week, at all?
Y'all do a lot of rowing though. Barbell rows?
No.
Why did I get that? Why was I thinking that?
So you guys just snatch, clean, jerk, front squat, go home, and then subtle variations there. You don't do anything else. You never do. Bench or do just regular overhead pressing or...
Oh, yeah. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometimes we'll do some push presses. But it's like volume. It's like three sets of 5 push presses, either from the front or the back. Sometimes it's just military press. No leg use.
Never like glute ham raises or ab stuff? Core
that is all up to the individual athlete. So a lot of my teammates do that, but I don't because it's funny. When I step off the platform, I'm very injury prone.
Oh, yeah?
If I do some ab work, like my abs tighten up and I get like an ab spasm. Or if I do some back extensions, my back will tweak. If I do some like rows and stuff that I used to love doing actually, some like bent over rows, like I'll just get a weird like hamstring tweak. So the minute I get away from the platform, I'm just a disaster. So I stick to the platform 100%. I mean, you'll see some videos. I like to do a lot of warm-ups before training and even some cool-down exercises. Like I do a lot of jump roping. I think the jump roping is like the best warm-up you can do for weightlifting. And I like to get on the rower, when you're coming in all sore from yesterday's training, you're trying to loosen up and get the blood flowing. There's no better exercise to do than some rows. So, yeah, not a lot of – I don't do anything.
And never any conditioning at all?
Never.
Push a prowler or run a hill sprint on a weekend?
No. See, that's the thing. I haven't ran in 6 years. Honestly, I haven't done
a jog.
I haven't done an ab workout in 6 years. I do go on some jogs. I wrote a blog on that actually. I love jogs. I go on a night jog. But we're talking 10 minutes. We're talking a 15-minute, like almost a speed walk. I mean, just move around just to stay fresh and loose for the next day. That's why I take a lot of hot water baths. I take 3 hot baths a day.
You swim in the morning and take hot baths in the day.
I do contrast. I'm a big contrast believer. I'll do laps in the cold pool before training, and then I'll switch and I'll go in the hot tub, and then I'll do a lap, and then I'll sit in the hot tub.
Where's this pool
I always
at?
end on hot water.
You have a pool at your house?
Yeah. No. I used to with the apartment. That's what kind of sucks right now is that we don't have access to that anymore. So I'm trying to like get like a YMCA or a 24-hour fitness membership to go do that again. But I always end on hot to stay loose. And at night, I end off on cold before bed for training. So, but I'm a big believer in hot water. So, I mean, hot water, jump roping, some rows, really the only thing I do. I mean, sometimes I'll get my curls on for, to look good.
What about any other leg work? You guys ever do any lunges of any type or step ups or anything like that? Any single leg work, pistols?
No.
Stuff CrossFitters would do? Any of that?
No. We, Coach got us on something where we did jerk ladders. There's a video out there on YouTube. If you type in Jon North, the jerk ladder, which is one of the besides doing that Grace workout, was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever done. And you keep the weight over your head in the jerk, and then you basically lunge into the jerk, and you just go down a full ladder, and it's very hard. The leg that you bring forward is always the leg you jerk with, so you don't alternate legs.
Yeah.
We used to do a lot of those, but besides that, no. So there's glimpses, especially when we're far out from a meet. There's glimpses of funky stuff we do like that. We'll get doing some funky stuff. No one knows what they do or what they are. But we do them. It doesn't last long, and then we're back to the platform. But we never leave the platform, ever. So I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not anti any of it. I've never been really around a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, I come from a really big Bulgarian background. I mean, I've trained with Bulgarians for many years, and if anybody knows about weightlifting, Bulgarians believe in two things in life: snatch, clean, and jerk. And then I met Coach, and has a lot of Bulgarian tendencies as well. So I always wonder, though. I sit in bed some nights and think, what happens if I was on this kind of program? I mean, I was on a percentage program. Like I said, we did a lot of other exercises. I was training like 2 to 3 times a week, but it was so early in my career. I was so young in weightlifting that I don't know what it really did. I wonder if I was on a program like that now. Honestly, I mean, would that help me, or would it not help me? I don't know. That's the thing. I'm not a program coach. That's the first thing I say when I do a seminar. This is a technique seminar, and a question and a Q&A, a question and answer seminar, and a let's lift and max out seminar, and have fun seminar. But as far as programming goes, I can answer as best as I can, but it's just not my specialty. And that's one thing I pride myself in, is saying I don't know.
A lot of people don't pride themselves in that.
Yeah.
So you train typically twice a day, morning, afternoon?
Yeah, we train 2 to 3 times a day. For leading up to this meet, we trained 3 times a day for quite a while. So training sessions will go anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours.
So you're training 2 to 3 times a day, and each session is 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, each session.
You're training like 6 hours a day plus.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll have one training session only. That'll only last a few hours, which is really good. And then we get to go home. And then Sundays are off, like I said, which is great. Well, sometimes we have to train on Sundays, but
you're a professional athlete. I mean, this is something other people just couldn't do. Like you dedicate all your time to this.
One of the hardest things I've had to learn in weightlifting is learning how to train. That's the hardest thing, is learning how to push my body to adapt to this type of training. Because before I started training like this, I came from a 3-day-a-week, 1-hour percentage style program, which was great. But teaching my body to lift like this is probably one of the hardest things I had to overcome, besides becoming sober.
How's that been on your body, joint wise, like injury wise, recovery wise?
Can we take a break? I'm only bringing this up because I'm concerned that YouTube is gonna screw up our video on YouTube.
Yeah, we can.
But I can hear music.
Yeah, it's been playing the whole
Actually,
damn time.
it's so funny because the band that's playing right now, I just bought their album a few weeks.
Mumford and Sons or something?
Yeah, they're great. They won an Academy Award.
I can hear
them. Yeah, I think like a local radio station is playing in the background.
Hey guys, Chris Moore here on the Daily BS today. We've got some questions about setting up home gyms. So I'm actually going to walk you through sort of the steps I went through and some of my reasoning when I set up my new home gym.
Epic Pan.
Life is busy. Sometimes you got to make arrangements to be able to train when you can train. So I guess my first point for you would be you have to first consider racks. If you're Olympic weightlifting, I'd say go to Rogue, get you a nice simple pair of squat stands that are going to last you forever. You're going to be doing overhead pressing, front squats, back squats, and the lifts, so you don't need a whole setup kind of like this. If you want to do home wads, you're not going to be pushing the loads so high. Some squatting that you can just easily dump the bumper plates you're using. You're going to be doing some pull-ups and stuff. I would probably recommend a Rogue half rack that mounts to the wall. Those things are super cool. They're very space efficient. You can do everything you want to do. If you're going to do heavier squats alone, but especially if you're doing things like bench press, you really need to have a power rack, because you can fucking die doing that in your garage on your own. I've got just a simple old school West Side barbell style rack. Actually used to be back in faction back in the day. I've got a pair of heavy duty Spud Inc. wraps or straps that hold whatever I can lift and twice as much. So if I wrap this around the barbell, if I need to set a bench press down into it, if I lose it, or I need to kind of bail on a squat carefully, I can do that no problem. So rack, very important, first things first. I guess my second thought always turns to barbells. If you're gonna do just basic strength work, this barbell right here is probably one of the better ones. This is a Texas Power Bar. Served me well over the last 10 years or so. Will hold a lot of weight. The difference with this bar and like a Rogue, a Rogue bar or a Bergner bar, those kind of bars, this is not really that great for weightlifting, because this thing is pretty stiff. You can get no whip during your second pull. You get no dip and reflex on a jerk drive. So this is really ideal for presses and squats and deadlifts. If you want to do the lifts, powerlifting and weightlifting, I would get a general Rogue bar. If you got the money, maybe a bearing, but you don't need it. I also have a heck of a lot of other kind of bars. These are all bonus. I've accumulated them over years. A cambered bar for good mornings. A safety bar that's really helping me learn how to be more upright after years and years of being a bent over good morning style squatter and powerlifting, which is, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't do that way. A Buffalo bar, cambered bench bar, an awesome deadlift bar, which is a little thinner than a bar like this. Gives you good whip on the deadlift. Actually, it's a little smaller diameter, so you can grab the hell out of it. It's actually really sharp. You cannot let it go, basically. And this is a pretty decent bar, a multi-purpose bar to have in your garage gym. Sometimes called a Swiss bar, sometimes called a football bar. You can grab with various grips. If you got a banged up shoulder and you want to bench press or press overhead, this bar gives you some options where it lets you work around the pain. If you've done ring rows and it feels a lot better, this is the same thing for pressing. One of the things, you're going to need some plates. I've got a bunch of just standard metal plates for the main lifts. I've also got my mean greens. CTP, zoom in on those homies. 50 kilo bumper plates, which are very nasty. Those things will plaster you to the ground, but are amazing for deadlifting. The only plates I don't have, the only thing really on my wish list is just some basic, 25 kilo, 20 kilo, 15, 10 bumpers. I'm gonna get that pretty soon. What are some nice to haves? Again, if you're gonna bench, you need a bench. This happens to be the bolt together item from Rogue. It's like 170 bucks. This is actually one of the best benches I've ever used. It's super firm. The height is right, the width is right. As with anything, we ain't sponsored by Rogue yet, maybe one day in the future, but I have never got anything from Rogue that I didn't think was just amazingly well made. I mean, that's just legitimate. So you probably need a bench. I also have, for warm-ups and such, a Rogue Games box, which it's just clever, man. I mean, you can flip it on each side. You get, what's like 18, 22, 24 CTP. It's maybe even 30 on
20,
one side.
24, and 30.
Yeah, it's like 130 bucks. It takes, it's the function of 3 boxes, so it's super awesome for garage space. Store it in the corner. I got a box for box squatting, although I don't really do that much anymore. I do that maybe as an assistance exercise. When I power lifted, I did all kinds of box squatting only to obsessive degree. I don't necessarily think that's the way to go anymore. This bad boy, my trusty Elite Fitness glute ham raise, which I actually bought this. In hindsight, I'm glad, because I didn't have to buy it now from my garage gym. But I paid like 800 bucks for this thing when I was in grad school, which is ridiculous. But this thing has lasted for, well over 10 years now. Again, as everybody who does CrossFit knows, you're not gonna find anything better for training your abs, and you're not gonna find anything better for training the hamstrings and glutes and back, doing back raises and glute ham raises. So, some odds and ends, a little stretching mat, some random bands, some wraps. The bands are also super duper useful for a home gym because you can just do anything with them. You can tie them to the rack, and do, curls, extensions, raises, stretches. My favorite thing to do with it, I choke the band around the bottom. I pull it around my feet. I sit way back. I do banded leg curls. It's kind of a good hammer. You squeeze your ass and you pull your heels down into as fast as possible. Squeeze. Let it back real wide and squeeze. It's one of my favorite deadlift assistance exercises. Every time I do it, I get a little faster in the pull. This works quite nicely. I've got a few boards and stuff left over, remnants from the powerlifting days for doing partial range of motion presses. I do a little bit of that now just to try to bring the lockout strength back in my press, which has suffered quite a bit lately because I haven't really worked it. So it's nice to have, and that kind of stuff is almost free to make, no big deal. I do have some sweet cherry bomb kettlebells. Ugh. We picked these bad boys up at the garage games actually. I saved like $130 shipping just by getting them myself. I don't really love a whole lot of kettlebell stuff. It's great as assistance, it's great for conditioning. Doesn't replace deadlifts and squats, obviously. But I got a pair just to do some swings for warming up or working my hips for assistance work. It's great. 25-pound slam ball, just for tossing around in the backyard or slamming down for a warm up before the bench press. What else? Yeah, a handy dandy pair of rings. Like what, $30 or something on most CrossFit supply websites. Can't go wrong. A few assorted mats for pulling from different heights. Also for padding your concrete floor in your garage. We have rubber everywhere. This is just something I picked up at a local farm supply place for $40 a sheet. You can't really get much of a better deal than that. But you want a lot of rubber. Get you some spare pieces, cut them up into squares, so when you do like a heavy deadlift, you can stand up on them and then put them underneath the plates, because if you drop a heavy bar and you crack your foundation, hopefully you got insurance to cover that. I don't want to crack mine. Other than that, you don't need much of anything else. The only other thing I'll probably add in here is Concept 2 rower. Maybe like a cheap Airdyne or something if I can get a good deal on it, find it on Craigslist. But other than that, this kind of setup is really all you need to get as strong as you need to get. Yeah, that's pretty much all, man.
Tater tots.
Tater tots.
All right, we're back. We still have annoying music in our headphones, but you can't hear it at home. And that's all right. Doug, you were going to get to a point, but you don't remember? Is that
I have no idea what I was about to say, actually.
So. I bet we could just let Jon talk, and he could come up with something to say.
He has been a good guest. He's very talkative.
Very energetic.
I feel like I'm
very
too
talkative.
See, after the show,
great.
I'm going to sit in my empty hotel room and beat myself up for talking too much.
That's the introvert. That makes you an introvert.
Honestly, man. It's a big problem in my life, to be honest. It's bad, man.
Do you do that a lot? I mean, I do that a lot. Like I'll go out and I'll be at a party or something like that, or I'll give a speech or a talk, or I'm like, oh, I can't believe I said that thing, and then like for a week it'll bother me, and there's been some things that like bother me for years. Do you have that?
Oh yeah, every day. That's what I like about listening to. That's why I like listening to the Joe Rogan show, really, to get back on that.
Yeah.
Just because it reminds me, it's like, hey, just be you.
Yeah.
If you talk too much, you're going on a rant too long, or you might say something controversial that'll offend some people. I beat myself up and I second guess myself a lot, but then I think, wait a minute, this makes me me. This is me, and I got a lot of support and support out there with the Dark Orchestra and stuff. So just keep going, and that's another reason why I like the show.
Yeah, I don't feel like Joe has those thoughts. I feel like Joe just speaks his mind, and he doesn't think about it afterward. Like, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on it. I wish I could. It's like social drinking. It's hard.
You're trying not to worry about the things you say more? Or are you just trying not to say regrettable things as often?
No, not necessarily regrettable things. Just, I don't know what it is. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously, you talk more than most people do, as do I. And that's probably why we do podcasts. We're like, oh, I feel like I've got stuff to say. And then, you look back sometimes, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that one thing. It's not, and a lot of times it's like, that's really how I feel, but you start wondering about who you may have offended or whatever.
Yeah, that's the hard part. God, I got so much to say. That's the problem, though. It's just there's so much shit in my head I want to just like yell on top of a mountain about constantly, you know, that I want to share with people. You know, I really do. I want to share my failures. I want to share my successes. I want to share my experiences and what I've been through and stuff. And, you know, but then sometimes there's something on my right shoulder that's saying like, yeah, you know, you went too far, Jon. You know, you're being too personal. You're opening up too much. You know, why are you writing blogs about, you know, meth and your issues with your dad? And why are you on, you know, Barbell Shrugged talking about, you know, Vicodin and stuff like that? And, you know, stuff I'll probably lay in the bed tonight looking at the ceiling, not regretting, but going over. You know, and that's why I don't smoke weed. You know, it's like, gosh, it's something I'm working on, to be honest.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to really appreciate your honesty, though. I feel like people are going to listen to this and they're going to really go, hey, you know what? I feel the same way. You know, I've done the same things. And, you know, I mean, you've become very accomplished.
Well,
and you've also had some weird things in your past, and you being weird.
Yeah.
You've had some heavy stuff in your past, and I think, you know, being very honest about that is going to do a lot of people a lot of favors.
Well, and that's, you know, that's why I get so jacked up in meets and in training. And people think some people think it's like a show. You know, why does he do that? You know, he's arrogant, he's cocky, he's an asshole. But what people don't realize is that I have to do that. If I don't do that, I'll start thinking the barbell will get in my head. I'll start thinking about my dad. I'll start thinking about how good vodka would taste right now. I'll start thinking about the pressure of the success I've already had and about letting people down. And all these things go through my head if I'm calm. When I'm calm and quiet, bad things happen. So when I slam bars and yell out Arnold and yell out Schenkel and get hyped up and get the crowd onto it, it gives me a certain high that elevates me to lift big weight and not to think really, just to lift, just to react. Just to go on stage and just get the crowd into it and just react, not to think at all. And that's taken 6 years to learn. You know, I've bombed out at more meets than I've won. Everybody I've beat in the sport I've lost to. And the reason for the bomb outs and the losing, I don't personally think is my athletic ability, but it's my head. I've tried to go into meets and be calm because people's hate mail got to me. So I said, maybe I should try it. And it's just a disaster. It's kind of funny. It's pretty much like I live in my own jail cell. I'm a prisoner of Jon North, to be honest with you, because there are times where I wish I was calm and I wish I could just be relaxed and chill, but I just can't. I got to just go crazy all the time.
So you do those big celebrations in training too, not just on stage during the meet?
Yeah, I do those all the time, almost. You know, there's some days where I get in this weird zone. See, I have 3 different methods to lifting weights. A is get really jacked up and be excited and energetic. B, mad lifting. Like American Open when I won gold a few months ago, I was mad.
Were you mad the entire time, or you got angry?
I was mad the entire time because this guy from another country thought he could come in and talk shit and beat me, and I put him in his place hard. So I had to let him know this is the USA.
Hell yeah.
And I took one for the fucking team. And I wanted to fight. And then the third is just this weird zone that Donnie Schenkel taught me where I just don't say, or I just like almost a mummy. And I get this weird thing in training. I don't really do it in the meet just because the crowd just like breaks me out of it. Like in the back room, I'll get like this, but right when I start to walk up on stage, I just lose it. But I just weird feeling of just like no emotion, no talking. I'm not mad, but I'm not excited. I'm just focused. That might sound corny. I'm just focused. That only works in training though, because the crowd snaps me out of it. But
what do you think is the most beneficial way of training? And then obviously, I mean, we know what happens.
Yeah, finding a middle ground, because it's a double-edged sword. When I get too jacked up, I lose my breath, I get tired, and the third attempt is heavy because
right.
I'm a little winded. I try not to expend too much energy. So finding that middle ground is so difficult. Have I found it? No. I haven't found it yet. I'm always working on it. I don't think it's something that any athlete will find. Well, if you win gold in the Olympics, you found it. If you win the Super Bowl in football, you found it. You know, but I haven't found it yet. I got to work on it. You know, what is the perfect way to do it? I want to get jacked up, but at the same time, I can't be too calm. So it's really that middle ground that's so difficult to find. I've gotten into it a few times where I get in this weird zone where everything's perfect, but it's hard to get back. It's like technique. You know how to lift weights. You have good technique, but no matter who you are and how efficient you are, you sometimes get out of the rhythm. You sometimes just lose it, and you got to like, what the hell's going on here? It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's just like the mental aspect of going into a meet.
You ever heard the book Flow?
No, I like the movie Hustle and Flow, though. Terrence Howard's one of my favorite actors. Well, what's Flow?
Tangent number 49.
Yeah. What's Flow? It's a book?
Flow's a book written by a psychologist. It's just about finding the zone.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow. I should have to check. I want to. Do they have it on tape? Book on tape?
Probably. It's a really old book.
Yeah.
Is it Chicks and Mihai?
Mihai Chicks.
Mihai Chicks and Mihai. I can't say it.
I got to check it out. I do the books on tape a lot.
I don't even know where he's from.
I have trouble reading, to be honest.
Yeah, I do a lot of audiobooks.
I do audiobooks.
There's certain types of books I really like to read, and then there's other books I really like to listen to. And a lot of times there are books that, you know, they're good one and not the other. You know, you can't read them or you can't listen to them, but you know they're great the other way around.
Yeah.
I like audiobooks as a screening process for reading the real book. It's like an audiobook it in 2 days, and then I know if I actually want to spend however knows, I don't know, 6 weeks reading a book. I
love.
I don't get much time to sit down. And
you
read.
guys watch a lot of movies. What's your favorite movie?
Fuck, I never watch movies.
Oh,
no,
Doug.
I don't, man. I don't.
We got to have a bromance date and go out to a movie.
Yeah, Hustle and Flow, DVD player right behind those doors.
Last 3 times I was at the movies, you were with me.
What movie did you see?
What did we see last?
We see Ted, and then we saw
10?
Ted was funny.
Ted was
pretty funny. Yeah, I did see Django Unchained. That shit was good.
We saw that
good.
the other day.
That was
That's
good.
great. I was mad it didn't win the Academy Award. We saw Argo. I thought Argo was a good movie. I really did. But the Academy Award? Come on now, bro. Get off me.
I never saw it. I don't see movies in the theater very often. Maybe twice a year.
That's the only time I watch movies.
I can't.
Watching at home, no way.
The hard thing about the theater is the people eat popcorn loud and they sit behind you and they open the candy. I can't.
You eat candy?
When I go to a theater, I go hard in the paint.
Yeah.
I'm talking popcorn, Twizzlers. We're talking Skittles. I wish they still did Red Vines. I'm old school. You know,
They don't do Red
pop.
Vines anymore?
We call it pop out in Oregon. You know, California people call it
Weirdos.
soda. You guys call it pop?
No.
I grew up in Oregon, Washington, so yeah.
You call it pop.
I called it pop growing up.
You call it soda? You're
No, actually, when I lived in Arizona, I think we called it pop. I'm trying to remember.
I think so.
And then
too.
when I moved to the South, everyone called it Coke, and we made fun of them for it.
Coke.
And then now I call it Coke.
Out in Donnie Shangle out in Louisiana, they call it cold drink.
Oh, for real?
Cold drink.
Give me some of that cold drink.
So what's up with Donnie Shankle? Where's he been?
Donnie Shangle rips heads off lions. Donnie Shangle made me a man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm dead honest with you. You know, Donnie Shangle was my first coach at Cal Strength. He had me squatting 13 times a day, snatch and clean and jerk like 9 times a day. Broke me down. I didn't get strong. He just broke me down. He would always say, "I'm going to break you down to build you up." Well, he broke me down physically, but he never built me up. I'll tell you what he did build me. I'll tell you what he did build me up in, though, and that's the mental aspect.
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened to me was that 1 month with Donnie.
So you say 9 times a day. What does that mean?
Snatch and clean and jerk to max. Go take a 20-minute nap, eat, do it again.
Just all day long.
Smoke a cigarette, drink some coffee, have a beer. Yeah, I was a troubled kid before Donnie, and he snapped me, and he slapped me in the face. He would tell me to get the fuck out of his gym. Get out if you can't handle. I don't want you here. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be a champion. You don't want to be a national champion. You don't want that title. You know. So I stuck with him. I said I do want the title, because at that time I was a college dropout. I had nothing. I was flipping burgers. You know, I was living homeless. I lived homeless for about 6 months in my car. So I said, look, this is it. This is all I got. I want to win the national title. So 4 years later, I did.
So what do you? I know you don't talk about nutrition too much on your podcast, and we do on occasion. And CrossFitters are super big into the paleo model, eating clean all the time.
Yeah.
For getting strong and being a weightlifter, what do you guys recommend, or do you just say fuck it, just eat whatever you want?
I think that in the weightlifting world, it's, every athlete's different. I'm on the everything diet. I eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I actually don't like eating. I'm the exact opposite of somebody that is trying to lose weight.
Mhm.
I always say the day that I retire from the sport of weightlifting is the day I'm going to weigh 100 pounds. Because every time I eat, it's because I have to. I'm not hungry. There's only a few times in the month where I actually eat when I'm hungry. And I can't eat that healthy because I lose so much weight. Coach takes me to the pizza buffet every Sunday or every Saturday if I'm low on weight, and just has me just eat literally till I throw up. Like, that's no joke. Like, I don't enjoy it. I wish I could be paleo. I really do. I wish I could eat healthy, but I just can't. My numbers go way down. I get weak, and for the amount of training that I do, the amount of 1 rep max training I do, that's the thing that I can get away with that in like CrossFit. You know, if I ate like this in CrossFit, it would be a disaster. But the amount of 1 rep max lifting I do, I have to eat the way that I do, and especially for recovery. And I mean, look, I eat. It's not like I eat bad. I have a very weird outlook on food. I have no scientific backing on it. I mean, I eat a lot of red meat, and I eat healthy, I guess. But I think sugar is great for athletes. I think fat and calories is a must to a certain extent. Obviously, caffeine's good for you. I guess I'm just a big believer in everything in moderation. I eat a lot of candy. I eat a lot of cheesecake.
I love that sentence.
Well, I
love everything
feel
in moderation. Ate a lot of candy.
I know that didn't make any sense. I feel that having a well balanced, maybe not well, but a balanced diet is important. Like, if you're going to eat a Snickers bar, eat a piece of meat.
Right.
If you're going to eat a slice of pizza, have some fruit. I'm a big grapefruit eater. Have some grapefruit. If you're going to have 3 slices of cheesecake for dessert, you know, you better eat a really nutritious meal. Don't just have a shitty meal and then eat cheesecake. So I try to do my best on balancing, getting my sugar, getting my calories, getting my carbs or fat or whatever, with healthier meals. So I don't have any scientific backing. I'm probably completely wrong. You guys are the pros. When I do retire from the sport, I'm going to eat clean, because first of all, when I have kids, I'm going to quit smoking. Okay, that's a goal of mine. Not a goal. I will do it. And I'm going to eat clean, you know, because I want my kids to eat clean. And because I don't need to not eat clean, because I'm not an athlete anymore. So I think that athletes are different human beings than regular, as I call them, civilians. And that goes for everything, including diet. Now, I could be totally wrong, guys. You're the pros. This is totally just my opinion and what works for me. So for all the listeners out there, don't listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think a lot of times for athletes who are the best in their field, who are you're not the best because of your nutrition. You know, you're the best because of all these other things that you're doing, and your drive and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes when I look at someone like Michael Phelps and they talk about what he ate, I'm like, well, or what he eats, I'm like, well, maybe if he ate this other stuff, he could do even a little better. You know what I mean? But the athlete who wins gold, like, why would they change anything? You know what I mean? Like,
well, let me tell you
fix something that ain't broke?
I pride myself to be open-minded, and I've actually thought about getting a nutritionist coach. I want to do better with food, and I think that if I ate better and ate more smart, not even necessarily AKA or healthy, whatever that means, but just better.
Yeah.
That I could be a better athlete. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I got it nailed, because guess what? I haven't won the Pan Ams. I haven't won Worlds, and I haven't brought home the United States a gold medal yet. So obviously I can improve.
Is that something you're looking to do in 16?
Change my diet?
No, to go to the Olympics.
Yes, absolutely. I'll die trying.
You're on track for that right now?
Yeah, I'm on the Pan Am team right now, and then I'll get my ass on the world team this year. And, you know, I look at the Olympics different than some. I mean, is it my number one goal? No. The Olympics is not my number one goal. My number one goal is to represent my country. And if that is a national meet here in the States, then good. If that is Pan Ams, then I'm representing my country. I got USA on my sling. With the World Championships, I'm representing my country. When I go to a seminar overseas, I'm representing my country. And obviously the best, Olympics, you're representing your country. So, of course, it's like right there. It's my 1 and number 2 biggest goal. But it's not just the Olympics. People always talk the Olympics, the Olympics, the Olympics, the Olympics, the Olympics. What about Pan Ams? What about Worlds? What about meets here in the United States? What about what about junior worlds, the juniors? What about the Masters division? What about our 60-year-old guys in weightlifting? They're going to the Masters Pan Ams and representing this great country. No one gives them crap for attention because everybody wants to talk about the damn Olympics and how we're going to do better in the Olympics. Well, that's a great discussion. Well, how about we freaking give credit to our master lifters and our junior lifters and our collegiate lifters that are putting USA on their chest and representing this great country? You know what I mean? Nobody wants to talk about that. It's all, let's prepare, that's the crazy thing. Let's not even prepare for 16. Let's prepare, let's think about 220. Let's think about 224. Let's get these 8-year-olds and prepare them, which is great. But how about now as well? Let's talk about right now. Ever since I got in the sport of weightlifting 6.5 years ago, all I've ever heard is the future. That's all I've ever heard is 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now, 2 years from now. Never right now. What about the athlete? What about the 26, 27-year-old athletes right now, like Phil Sabatini and etc., that are lifting? Well, he's retired now. That's probably a bad thing, but you know, some guys that were like, you know, my age,
right? Yeah,
that are putting themselves out there and you know, represent the country. Let's talk about right now. I guess I'm getting on a rant right now, but let's talk about right now.
So what is the biggest thing we could do right now?
But that's a good question. To answer your question, yes, you're right.
He's like, oh, I have no fucking idea.
No,
I don't know.
The
Nobody
Olympics,
knows.
yes, of course. I'm gonna die trying. I'm gonna die trying. I guess my overall point is that I guess world championships, the Pan Ams, the Olympics, in my opinion, all kind of wrap up in just the same home run.
Mm-hmm. So someone would think if you are the #1 weightlifter in your weight class, then you would just be automatically going to the Olympics. But how does that work? How do you actually get to the Olympics?
Well, actually, I'll tell you right now I'm not #1.
Are you not?
I was #1 the past 3-4 months.
Mm-hmm.
But Ian Wilson, my competitor, the 94-kilo lifter, actually beat me by 1 kilo at Junior Nationals a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I totaled 348 at Americans, and he went to Junior Nationals and totaled 349. So I'm actually the #2 weightlifter in the country. #2 94 doesn't sit well. That's why tomorrow I'm gonna go smoke them.
What are you gonna total tomorrow?
But you're 350. I'm a big believer in winning. I'm not a big believer in any other goal than that. Do I want the American snatch record? Yes. Do I want to total 360? Yes. But I'll tell you one thing I want to do more than anything, and that's win. And if it's by a half kilo, a kilo, or whatever, I'll take it.
So that's something most people have never really thought about, is how to kind of structure and call out your weights to, you know, they're calling out a weight and then you're calling out a weight and then you're changing your weights, and like how does that whole game work in the back there when you're trying to figure out how to get a half kilo above somebody?
Well, to answer your first question that has the same thing to do with that is that just because you're the #1 94 in your weight class doesn't mean you're going to the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say this was Olympic year and I was the #1 overall, then that's what it's all about, is the overall. It's all done on like a St. Clair format.
Mm-hmm. Explain what that is
obviously,
to people that don't know.
So just because, like, let's say there's a 69-kilo lifter, a guy that's 3 weight classes below me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm lifting more weight than him because I'm a heavier competitor.
Mm-hmm.
But for what he's lifting in his weight class is better than me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put, as an example.
Mm-hmm.
So he would obviously go and I wouldn't. We got to send our best athlete. It's not about how much you can lift. It's about how good you are in your individual weight class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all done on the St. Clair formula. It's a lot of the St. Clair formula stuff is really complicated, and it's a little over my head. And I think it's complicated for a lot of people, actually, to kind of exactly figure it out. I mean, to figure out the ranking system and who's ahead of who and who's going to make this team, you see coaches like with calculators.
Yeah,
and they're
the
writing
actual
things down,
formula
and
is extremely complicated.
It's extremely complicated.
Yeah.
It really is. That's why, as an athlete, you got to just go lift and you got to react.
Yeah.
And the second question was, in the back room, and that's where a good coach comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mike's been doing all weekend, is counting attempts, setting up the athlete in competition to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a chess game, because you're right. They're playing. It's a mind fuck in the back room, man.
So what's that process look like? Like everyone calls their first lift,
Yeah.
right? And then people start playing games and start.
Well,
kinda
everybody
talk about that.
puts their first attempt in the snatch on paper, on a table in the back room.
Mm-hmm.
So the judges in the weightlifting meet knows the order, but you have 3 attempts to change each attempt you put on the card. So just because I'm opening up at 160 or 155 in the snatch doesn't mean I am, and doesn't mean my competitor's opening up at 154. He could at the last minute change it, and if he changes it, guess what? I'm going to change it because I want to open up a kilo more than him. Or if I see he's going to make a big jump and open up too high in our opinion, I'll stay where I'm at. Make him miss his opener, hit my opener, go up on my second, make it. Then he just ends up on a second attempt with it. And then all of a sudden now he's got to be forced to make one lift and win on the third. So opening high or opening too low, I mean, it's just at the level that I'm competing at, it's all about other competitors. It's not about yourself anymore. Like, yes, it's great to get PRs. But at the same, it's more about winning and what my competitors are doing. Honestly, if I had a competitor come in here tomorrow and hit 40-70, I'd go 41-71. I don't do it for myself anymore. I do it to win. And I do it to win, to make national teams, to represent my country, because that's all it's about. At this point, I don't care what's on the bar.
So how does that play into your warm-up sets? Knowing there's going to be a bunch of changes and stuff, how do you do your warm-up? Getting ready to go out for your first attempt.
It's all coach. It's all coach. I wish he was here to talk about it. And it's something I'm learning every day, is to be a competition and a program coach. Every day I'm learning. Every day I have questions. Because when I retire from the sport, that's what I want to do. But I'm not going to sit on this mic and act like a know-it-all. Now, technique, I go all day. The best technician in the world. But this is something I got to learn. But you warm up just like you do in practice. You take the same jumps, pop, pop, pop that you're used to, because that's what weightlifting is adapting. Unlike CrossFit, where it's like you got to be ready for anything. So you just adapt. You just do what your body knows best. You get up to that, around that opener, and then you just ask coach, are we going to go up? Are we staying here? And look, sometimes you've got to do things for the opener that move around a little bit, because the competitors, that get you out of your comfort zone. And that's why I'm a big believer in, when you train, don't mix it up. When you're resting, sometimes only rest for 30 seconds. Sometimes rest for 5 minutes between sets. Yeah. Sit somewhere else. Listen to music you don't like to listen to. Yeah. Force yourself to pull on the bar faster than other times. I mean, yes, the sport is about adapting, but at the same time, you got to be prepared to get a curveball thrown at you. And if you're a good competitor, you'll know how to adapt to that. So
you like to sit and relax in between attempts?
Yeah, always sit. Always rest the legs. Let the heartbeat slow down, rest the legs, and get ready for your next one. So, the weightlifter's bench is what they call it. But I know lifters that don't sit, but, it's very rare. Very rare.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut it down with that.
Yeah, let's wrap
good
this
content.
up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think all of our listeners have got a lot of things to ponder and practice and try, and probably go to your website. I'm going to let Doug go first. That way you can kind of get your thoughts together, which I don't think are going to be a problem. But, Doug, go ahead with your plugs.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and plug Simple Strength for our good friend Chris Moore, who unfortunately isn't here right now. So Chris has put a very cool video up on the Simple Strength product page where he talks about how to warm up for a 1RM attempt, kind of like we were just talking about, how to do your warm-up sets, how to kind of mentally prepare for a big, heavy set. So that's a new bonus that's a part of the Simple Strength product. So if you're interested in Simple Strength and learn how to get stronger and how to approach your 1-rep max attempts, you can go to barbellshrugged.com, click on the shop, and click on seminars, and the name of the product is Simple Strength. John, what do you got?
Oh, go to my website, theattitudenation.com. and sign up for a seminar near you. We're all over. Buy some cool product. And check out my blog, The Dark Orchestra, jonnorth.blogspot.com. Follow me on Twitter, @AttitudeNation. And save the whales and love life.
All right. Yeah, we tweet back and forth a decent amount, so you should have no problem finding
Sign up on my
Jon.
YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, subscribe to John's YouTube
Subscribe to
channel.
my YouTube channel at Attitude Nation.
You got a fan page?
I'm trying to figure out what else I have.
You got a Facebook fan page?
I don't do the fan page.
You need to do one.
I got a personal page. Facebook me at just Jon North, but I'm about to hit the limit, so I gotta switch something up and get a new page. Probably either the business page or a fan. I don't know.
Do a fan page for the Attitude Nation.
Attitude Nation. I think we do actually. I don't use it that much. We have a business page.
That's what you should.
But
yeah.
just hit me up on Jon North. Jon, no H.
Ask to be his friend.
Just be my friend, you know. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm a huge fan, like I said earlier. Just thank you. It's an honor to be here. Shout out to all your fans, and just thanks for listening to me ramble on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. This has been a great interview. Make sure to go check out Weightlifting Talk.
Yeah,
they should be able to find that on iTunes, and that's mostly you and Glenn just going back and forth and arguing about.
Yeah, half of it. Yeah, exactly. We argue a lot. Half of it, like we should. You know, any weightlifting coach is not arguing with each other. Something's wrong. But half the shows have been with Donnie and half with Glenn because Donnie left for Australia. Yeah, iTunes. If you go to blogtalkradio.com and type in Weightlifting Talk, you'll find all the episodes. We just recently switched to a new program that has better quality, and it's Spreaker.com, SPREAKER.com, and just type in Weightlifting Talk. We've only done one episode, but we're going to do the next episode, hopefully with you guys, this Sunday live at the Arnold.
Excellent. And if we want to go to Spreaker.com, or if we want to listen to Weightlifting Talk, we just need to go to Spreaker.com and then search Weightlifting Talk.
Yeah, just type in Weightlifting Talk on the search button, and it'll pop right up there, and you can just push play. We're in the process right now. It's a brand new thing. We're in the process of getting all those on iTunes as well. But we were talking about this before. Look, you can get all these episodes for free. Let me mention that. But on our website, we are coming out with a DVD package of all the Weightlifting Talk episodes out there, all on a nice DVD you could just purchase right on our site. So for all the people like me that don't want to go out and buy a burnt CDs and that's bad at technology and doesn't know how to download them, they'll be available in the next few weeks on our website, theattitudenation.com.
Excellent. All right, guys, make sure to go to barbellshrugged.com and sign up for our newsletter. We're going to inform you of any time we have really cool interviews just like this, any new seminars we put out, new technique WODs, any of that kind of stuff. So, hope you enjoyed this segment. It was fun for us, and hopefully we'll do it again. See you next time.
Oh.
Man, that was fun.
Get it, speed.
Miss Brown Eyes, I'm here to save you.
Eyes are green. Sorry, yes, I stopped the last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, two larges. Two red eyes. What do you want? You want something, cameraman?
Yes, sir.
You want something?
Same thing?
Yeah.
3.
Donnie tried to get me down there.
Barely miss it or what?
Nah. Yeah, I've been barely in it. I missed it.
Benson woman.
Carry me in here. I was on the ground.
Really?
Paramedics talking about well, it's worse than that now. They're saying I should go to the emergency room.
What'd they say did?
They're saying that you hear him, Jeff?
I don't know what they're saying. It says something about taking you to the ambulance.
Yeah, man, they're saying like possible nerve damage for the rest of my life, all this crazy stuff. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm literally, you know, I'm just the fastest weightlifter to ever live, of course. So I'm in the back. The platform starts to almost kind of light on fire because I'm moving so quick. And I'm on 90 kilos. I'm about to go ollie on this shit. And right in the middle of my Superman pull, you might as well have taken a sniper rifle and shot me in the side. Just, I literally, you saw me back there. I dropped.
Yeah, you fell right down.
I just dropped.
Oh shit, man.
And I know I got all these right on the side, man. I got all these people out there. Attitude Nation, man. Soldiers out there ready to, and I just let them all down.
No, he fought. He fought.
I tried to come back too. That's what made it worse.
100 kilos.
I think I took about 7-8 Advil, and they started spraying me with all this, you know, like freezy hot
People
stuff.
standing on his back.
People standing on my Elizabeth Agarwal was standing on my back, throwing like
I'm
that.
sure the paramedics walking in like, oh, that was a great idea.
So I got back up to 100. I passed 90, 100 kilos. Got me again. Yeah, the guy was up there.
Holy shit, man.
No.
Sucks, dude.
Packed house too. What are people saying out there? You pissed?
Nobody knows.
I don't know what was going on.
Fuck Jon North.
What did the announcer
I'm just kidding.
The announcer just...
They didn't say anything.
Yeah,
The announcer
me
didn't say
what happened.
anything.
They didn't know why he
Is that
quit.
some of the people were wondering why he didn't live? But
Wait a minute though, but this is not press, Mike Bledsoe. This is drip.
we're out of town. We
Busted.
had to make do.
Are you sure this is okay?
I also didn't sleep on a very comfy bed last night.
Well, we're sorry to the weightlifting or the coffee gods, but you got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
Let's do this. What do I say? Fuck.
11 minutes, that's all you got. So I'm a little injured. Can't lift.
Alright, man. You alright? I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Sorry. 10 seconds. Can I get on the mic for 10 seconds?
Go right ahead.
Alright, Attitude Nation, I'm so sorry I got hurt in the back room. I tweaked my back. I barely could walk. I apologize. Thank you guys, though, the Attitude Nation, for coming out and supporting me and all the Team Muscle Drivers. So I just want to say I apologize. I'm so sorry for letting you guys down, and I'll be back for sure. Attitude Nation, salute. That's Jonathan North.
That's a good pour.
Let the light
This is definitely the tip top of your performance over the years. Yeah, for sure.
It was solid too. I don't know much about what's going on out there, but it looks solid, right?
A little sloppy on the pull, but
That looked better than the one before.
well, I think my pull before was better than my catch.
122 stays on the bar for Mike Bledsoe. Third attempt for Mike Bledsoe. Lifting in the 77 kilo class. Russo on deck. Okay, Mike Bledsoe looks good and the referees agree.
Oh my god.
Ah! I believe I can fly.
That guy needs to read bedtime stories for kids. He's got to call him soothing voice.
Video? You know the push test where you stand there and someone pushes you and you step forward?
Yeah.
All right, we'll show people that.
Okay.
Yeah. But maybe we won't mention that.
You did start spray tanning?
Don't worry about it. Look, I'm pale white, man, and I'm taking all these, you know.
Like I always thought you were a fair guy, and then
yeah. And then you saw me.
And then I saw you down.
The money changes people. The money changes people. My teeth are all extra white, nice and tan.